And we are live. Okay, cool. Well, last time we played, it was as you guys know, pretty eventful in the sort of well, you guys got to fucking kill Alcarante, which was pretty dope. Um, so in after defeating Alcarante, successfully stopping Calvaxes from taking the Eye of Orion back with him to wherever it was he was summoned from. Um, as you guys were all collecting and tallying the loot from this horde that was mostly destroyed and destructed by Calvaxes in his search for the eye. You guys, actually specifically Zinro and Kree, found not secret, but just new tunnels that you guys were able to kind of, I don't know, explore while the others were kind of doing the busy work. You came across a few open rooms, and each room on the inside had different scenery that you could tell. One looked like a meadow. One looked like this blizzard, this cold, wintry area. And then the third was like these desert sands. So naturally, you explored. You went inside, and you, after looking around shortly in the snowy one, Zenro kind of detected that this was, this was Jorvik. He's been here before. He lived here for a while. After going through the meadows, it was quickly discerned that this was the Candor Forest just south of Morrowgast. So there was a lot that was recognizable from these different areas that you went through. So you went back and told the group. The group came back, and at this point, towards the end of the session, Sage and Rain went through the meadow where the Candor Forest is and found a bird to send a message. And I listened back to the session to make sure I had this quoted perfectly, because this message is hilarious read out of context. It says, "Rain and I are both safe. War is coming. Stay safe. Found Centria alive. She's not herself. Still figuring that out. Love you." And that will be delivered by the original tweet, a bird messenger. And that's where we picked up. Sorry, that's not where we picked up. Right as you guys came back into the threshold of the tunnel where you were originally finding these rooms, you did notice that Derek had entered through one of those doorways as well. He tried to speak but wasn't able to, as he's mute by nature. And at this point, that's where the session ended, where you guys started to confront Derek. So you're in this tunnel. Derek is standing before you, wearing kind of his typical cladded, assassin like wardrobe, black and brown leathers. His hood was thrown up originally, pulled back as he walked into the corridor, and he saw all of you and was trying to speak to you, not realizing his voice wasn't audible at the time. What do you do?
Who has him? Because a few people grabbed him or started to.
Me and Trey.
Okay.
I know that.
Somebody, I'll say it. Cat got your tongue?
Let's get him like fully restrained, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, I know that Heather's not here, but she has the necklace of detect thoughts, which would be very helpful in this moment.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, yes, you guys notice that Rain walks up to Derek and is like kind of inspecting him, kind of curiously. And then she's going to tap that necklace to detect thoughts. And you hear, or she hears, Derek in his flamboyant voice that you guys have heard in this cavern before. He says, "What are these people doing holding me like this in my own home?" Let me Oh,
Well, I would probably say this isn't your home anymore. At least the thing that previously was here no longer exists.
and you see a panic come over his eyes. His face goes pale. And all Rain is able to discern from his thoughts as he realizes that that's how you're understanding him is the queen has fallen.
That's right.
Can we disarm him? Like, does he have any noticeable weapons or anything?
You can do a investigation check to see if he has any weapons.
$22.
Yeah, you notice that he keeps a rapier style sword on his hip. As feeling around, you do notice that he has some hidden blades in the kind of shin guards that he wears on the tops of his boots. You feel around the sides, like in his, it's almost the best described as almost a vest / corset, almost the way that it ties in the back. You notice that there's two small finger style blades that would fit in between his knuckles that are kind of strapped to the back part of his corset. You think he could probably just like quickly reach behind and pull out. And other than that, you're pretty sure that you found everything that he would be somehow smuggling as far as weapons go.
While he's looking, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just gonna throw them all in a pile away from him, and then still hold on to him, but just so he's disarmed.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and say, unless you want to meet the same fate as your queen, tell us everything you know about these doorways.
Mm.
We can hear you.
He's Rain, as she's trying to like detect his thoughts. She can tell he's trying to like actively just think about blank. Like he's just la 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 in his head, trying to keep any information from coming to the forethought.
He's basically ghostbustering it of don't think of anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he wearing anything metal?
Not really. Most of the only thing metal he had on him, Silex just took. Everything he has is like leather bound for Silent because he's trained as an assassin to be kind of undercover and sneaky. So not really any metal on him. But he does have like, leather armor that he's kind of like, it's not like studded or thick, but it's kind of strapped to his chest and legs.
This is terrible. I'm going to go ahead and pull out my dagger. I'm going to press it flat blade against the neck, and I'm going to cast heat metal on it.
Okay.
And say, talk.
La 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 is all Rain's able to hear. And then obviously wincing in pain as it sears. Go ahead and roll a d6.
5.
He
Well,
takes
we-
5 burning
I'm gonna say this out loud, like right next to his ear. Like, we might get more information of him if we use Ask the Dead instead of speaking to him while he's alive.
I was just
Like,
thinking we could leave him with Ombre, and as an associate of those that tortured her in Centria, she could take care of the killing part, and then I would just ask him questions later.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean that works. We don't have to get it while he's alive.
Umbre is with you guys, and she steps forward and she says, "No, that would be interesting."
I'm going to look back at him and say, your choice.
Of course, you could always write down anything you need to tell us.
He just kind of nods.
All right.
I'll pull out. Someone else will have to reach into my bag and pull out some pen and paper.
I'll get it. That's fine.
I
There you
was
go.
going to say, I think I might be one of them with a bag. I mean, I know I have pen and paper on me as well because I
That's
draw
fine.
and I write every day. So
Mm.
I grab my journal that I have with me and hand him a quill with some basic ink to it and
Yeah, go towards the back and right from there.
He flips to the back of the page. He actually pulls finds a blank piece of paper and kind of like gently tears it out, so it doesn't stay inside the journal with you. And then he like places the piece of paper on top of the journal to write on. And you see kind of a quick little quill up and down, and he turns it around to you guys, and you see just written, anything particular you'd like to ask?
We already asked. Tell us everything you know about the doorways. We'll start there.
And you see him kind of confused,
It might be
almost
a bit
dumbfounded,
wordy.
and then he just goes and starts writing for a second, and then you're expecting him to write a lot of information, and then he just flips the tablet back around to you, and it says, I'm afraid I'll need more ink for that.
What locations do these tunnels go to? What are all the locations they go to?
Short moment, he's scribbling down, and he says, great question. I personally love questions. And then it continues into a short follow-up sentence, essentially stating, each of these doorways is a everlasting teleportation spell to a certain area across Morrowgast. Allows me to travel, us to travel across the world in an instant.
Who else has access to them or knows where they are?
My guess would be everybody who swore allegiance.
He points as he like finished writing, and it says, all of the children of the Hidden Queen.
Without Caranthe dead, do you have any more allegiance to her or Amalfia, who she worked for?
Talking to a guy who can't talk over Zoom. That's like a third level of inconsistency.
He's gonna turn the tablet around, and he says, I haven't thought of that. Never imagined an ancient beast dying before.
Well, you should probably start thinking about it now.
I suppose not particularly. He says with like 4 question marks at the end. I guess not.
How many children of Alcaranthe were there? I mean, it couldn't have been that big of a force.
Yeah, quickly he just scribbles, turns it around. It just says 100 with apostrophe S, hundreds.
How many tunnels are there?
1 second.
While you look that up, I will passively ask the question of
Well, I would assume now that all of those are more or less marked by Alcarante, including yourself.
this is Darren, right?
Derek.
Sorry.
So I mean, are you marked still before, or were you one of the unmarked that she might have done that to us exclusively?
So Mandy, are you asking how many tunnels, just like you're asking me, or are you asking Derek?
Derek. Yeah, I'm asking
Okay.
Derek how many tunnels, just to see like where in Morrowgast these.
So are you asking, sorry, this is where I want to be specific. Are you asking like how many tunnels are there inside the cave? Or are you asking how many rooms with teleportation? Because we were in one tunnel with like these rooms off of it.
Right. Yeah. More like the rooms. When I asked about location, like I wanted to know where in Morrowgast can we go from these teleportation devices? I mean, every city. Are there multiple in each city? That's kind of more what. So maybe rooms with these teleportation things in them.
Right. So he kind of he doesn't take a long time to think, right? So he's not like trying to figure it out, but he does take a moment to pause. And then he goes and slowly writes.
What was he thinking at that moment? Are we still doing detect thoughts on what he was thinking at that moment?
Yeah, I guess I mean, are you guys trying to talk and do detect thoughts at the same time?
I mean,
That's kind of hard to role play. That's why I'm asking. Like, typically detect thoughts is like when they're not speaking, but like he wants to talk. I don't know.
Maybe just in
I
that
guess
one
at this
moment because we
point, he doesn't need to
noticed-
write down because he's willing to divulge information. So, yeah, we
I
can
would
just
ask,
do the
how long
detect.
does it last?
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't have that pulled up. But just for the sake of things kind of moving along, we'll just say that he is able to, do the detect thoughts with Rain, and she's essentially translating what he says. Well, there's these three. Well, of course, there's the one that goes back to Venovia. The one in Athena. I guess that's it. Only the 5. And he's like thinking in his head, and then he goes to like write down, and then like he hears Rain tell you guys like 5. He's like, oh, and points to his head. And he hands back the quill and paper back to you.
What's your plan after this? If we were to let you go, what would you do?
He said he thinks, well, up until 45 seconds ago, I thought I was just coming home. Now I'm a free man. I suppose whatever it is there is for me to do. Maybe go steal some things, put myself up for hire, to the highest bidder, to assassinate someone. The world is just an open place. So many beautiful places and beautiful faces. Is this something you want me to do? I'm quite resourceful with my skill set.
It's been some time since we talked to Bradbury, but would you know where he might hide out?
The coward. Yes, he's probably tucked in safely in his bed in Fenderwind. Rain translates.
Didn't suspect him to be somebody that would go there, I suppose. So that surprises me.
I think that's by design. I feel like he goes there because people don't expect to look for him there. He held us. He brought us there once as a safe house of sorts, and I assume he didn't expect me to be as perceptive as I was. But it's in the trade to pay attention to these things.
I'm going to kind of just turn and look and just say, what do we do with him?
Well, to be honest with you, it wasn't his doing that caused us to be owed to Alcarante. We kind of followed him here, so that's on us. He wasn't one responsible for torturing Ambri or Centria, so that's not his doing either. I can't really think of anything that he necessarily did to us directly.
I don't really worry about what he did. I worry about what he's capable of doing later. The highest bidder very quickly could be Amalthea.
Well, if we're going with that logic, we should have killed Freyr some time ago.
Yeah, we should have. I believe that. I'm in agreement.
Yes, but we're not murderers just to murder. They have to at least do something wrong.
Rain quickly translates after he says that. But you were really quick to torture me, darling, with that blade. That was painful. I've done nothing to you. And he's like rubbing his neck where it's seared.
You could have talked and it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, you see how fun it is to torture and kill people? It's I know you're new to this, but it's fun.
I'm sure Aubrey's having a nice giggle.
Aubrey's kind of standing in the back after she made the comments about being able to kill him for you guys. She's just kind of been sitting back there observing the way you guys are handling the situation and just kind of taking that in.
I'm gonna reach into my little side bag and pull out the key that I had taken from him way back in the day. And just hold it up and say, I may or may not have taken this from you not so long ago. Are you able to tell me what it is too? for what it was meant to go to.
Oh my goodness. I'd, I had a thought that it was one of you. Well done. Very well done. That actually belongs to the Silent Shepherds in Athena. It holds a box of certain rarity. I think you guys know it as some sort of dragon scale. But it was kind of thrown at us last second by Bradbury before he fled the city. So you have the key. Your guess is as good as mine of where that could be.
We got that taken care of. Thank you, though.
My accidental pleasure.
Does he have anything?
Are you guys still like holding on to him like tightly, or have you kind of like at this point just become a conversation and kind of let him go where y'all are talking? Because I know he was writing, so I was like, are you guys still like bracing him? He's actively not trying to flee or anything at this moment. But I just want to know how you guys are positioned around him. Are you still like holding onto his arms? Are you like throwing shackles on him or something like that? Like, what are y'all doing to kind of keep him where he is?
I mean, I would have most likely been like behind him so that he couldn't turn and run away.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if he made any other move, I could just put 3 into his back.
Yep.
But I'm gonna cast detect magic. Does he have anything magical on him, or are those blades magical?
Surprisingly not. His blades seem to be just standard steel. Didn't seem to have any sort of magical enchantment on them at all. You get the idea that his ability to speak while here in this cavern was from Amalthea, not from any sort of magical means. It was like a gift given by her. So, and sorry, that answer is, I know Seamus, Zinro had asked earlier, is he still marked? Right. So just kind of retro back to that, because he would have like pulled down his shirt and been like looking at his chest and realized that the eye marking that he had himself is also gone. But that would have happened earlier when you asked.
Well, then there's nothing else to need of him. If we're not gonna do anything more, let's just get back to our business.
Might have just been a middleman kind of caught. What were you doing? I mean, well, I guess Ancarel or Alcarante.
I'll get it right someday.
Alcarante started the Silent Shepherds. Is that right?
I'd like to think that I started the Shepherds, but she definitely had a part in it. She was our purpose, I suppose.
And you would just happen to be a beneficiary of a rather strong individual at a random time.
I like to think of it as her star recruiter. But I definitely benefited from her gifts that she provided and security that she provided.
I guess what I'm being more specific about is, did you seek her out or did you stumble upon her?
Very much a stumble. I walked down this long tunnel, which you all have also experienced, and to my great and terrifying surprise, there was a beast within, larger than I'd ever seen. She spoke to me, and that was that.
I do believe him, but may I make an insight check just to...
Yep. Yeah, you can.
24.
That beats his 15 for deception. He is not telling the truth.
Oh
shit.
Well, it's interesting. Most people
out of all the times for you to do the insight check, that was good.
Most people don't seem to stumble upon a cave entrance, so I'm finding it very difficult to believe what you're telling me.
He stutters slightly, but you have to understand, it wasn't just a cave entrance. It was, it was this curiously straight tunnel.
If anyone happens to have some rope, we might have more questions for him on the boat.
On the boat? Oh, that sounds terrible. I don't want to go on a boat. I don't rather like water.
At this point, I would like to initiate the idea of wrapping this guy up so we can at least talk to him some more. Because
He just lied. He just lied to me.
Oh, Sage is gonna laugh
Me?
and just say, "Aren't you the one that was just talking about how much you appreciate honesty and how wonderful honesty is for you? It's really interesting that you're lying. Yeah, let's tie him up."
Yes.
I mean, we could gag him, but that seems kind of superfluous.
Yeah,
I'll
so
go
he
ahead
doesn't
and
he
get
doesn't
out some
resist. He
rope.
lets you guys tie him up. He's like pouting about it, but he lets it happen. He does think, he's obviously not saying, as you guys are kind of like walking him away, he's like, I suppose maybe I've heard of the queen before, and maybe there was a slight. Okay, fine. I knew who Alcaranthe was, but I thought she was a myth, a legend, and I didn't know that I would actually ever find her, let alone her hoard be as magnificent as it was. Which I assume you have all taken. Seems fair.
Yes, we have all claimed it as our own after that particular fight.
Did anyone... This may be insensitive, so, young lady, you may not want to tell them if you don't want to, he says to Rain, who's doing the translation through Detect Thoughts. Oh, hey, Rain. He says, did any of your people die in the fight?
I don't recall any of us.
Well,
being
I'm
dead.
seeing if Rain wants to actually translate that.
Okay. I will say to the group, did anyone die in the fight? I don't think anyone died in a fight, right, guys? Everyone survived?
There was some
Well,
unconsciousness, but there's no death.
I surely hope
Yeah.
so, if that's the way you treat it. If someone did die and you didn't know, that's almost worse. And he chuckles playfully. But I'm glad no harm was done too tragic, except for my queen. He kind of gives in a fake cry.
Well, we're glad
Okay.
she's gone.
And he takes one last look at his chest again and like sees that the eye is actually off of him. He kind of looks up, doesn't say anything or think anything, sorry, to Rain specifically. But he just kind of gives this look that almost you would think he's almost like me too. Because he was also trapped in her binding.
That's what I was suspecting. Is that he probably sought her out, but then deeply regretted it after the fact.
So, don't mean to be pushy, but is there anything that you really need from me? Or am I free to go?
Do we need anything from Derek, guys? Or is that Amathia? Or not Amathia, Ombre?
Fucking hope not. No, that's Derek. Derek's talking. Ombre's not saying anything.
Okay.
You all know my stance.
What is her stance?
I'm not talking to you.
Well, you can't hear him. Anything he says is like
I thought Rain
Rain.
was translating that. I thought Rain translated that.
Well, now that she's back, she can kind of actually translate what she wants to.
Okay.
Rain is a little confused as to what's kind of going on.
Sorry, yeah, Heather actually wasn't here for a lot of this.
Yeah, I wasn't here. I'm like, I don't really know what's going on.
So you saw Derek come out, right? And they like grabbed him and then your group started to interrogate, ask him some questions about, why is he there? What do these tunnels do? What do these different rooms go to? They were asking questions about his allegiance to Alcaranthe. And now he's just kind of at this moment of like, Am I still a hostage? I've given you information. Like, what's my next steps? Is kind of where he's at.
Yeah, okay. I'm guessing Sage wants to tie him up and take him to the boat.
No, I want to kill him.
Oh, wow. It's a little okay, what does everyone else want to do?
I honestly think we have no reason to kill him. We should just let him go.
Starts to realize what you guys are talking about, and his eyes go wide.
I am a little concerned about something that Sage had said in terms of like the highest bidder, him fighting for the highest bidder, and that could very well be Amalthea. So a little concerned.
Kind of raises a
with that.
finger.
Yes.
Yes.
He said he thinks to Rain. From how much was in that hoard, you lot might be the highest bidder.
Interesting. He says for how much was in that hoard, we might be the highest bidder.
Didn't think about that.
Not really our gold, isn't it? Umbre's.
Yeah, gold wise, it's definitely Umbre's, but she could be the highest bidder on our behalf.
She could be the highest bidder.
Ombre steps forward. I'm sorry, my name?
This gentleman is claiming that his allegiance goes to the highest bidder, and after this fight, that seems to be you. Do you have any use for him?
What, some sort of salary? I don't want to pay
Right,
this
yeah.
man. To do what? What is he good at? Getting caught?
Well, if he ever gets tortured, he can't talk.
Yeah, that is true. He has no tongue.
So, but what are his skills? What do you all know about him? This is Ombre.
He's been essentially a sentry, a servant of this dragon for years. He's recruited people for her, stolen for her, trapped people for her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything to add?
Personally, my thoughts on it are he was a byproduct of his curiosity. He sought out Alcaronte, and he probably regrets that decision as I look towards him, and maybe. But as far as I can tell, he has no direct ties that have hurt us. At very best, he was loosely associated with Bradbury, which ended up with the death of a couple of the crewmates on the original Rosabella.
Bradbury. That's a name I haven't heard since Fjordstown, I don't believe. Would you mind giving me a hand in killing Bradbury? She kind of makes a smirk as she finds the joke of giving a hand funny.
Oh, right. Yes.
And Derek looks at her, and there's like a pause. He just kind of gives a slow.
All right.
Well, then he's all yours, Ombre.
Perfect. 20,000 gold pieces after I receive his other hand and, of course, his head. I give you a month or I will find you. And she turns about faces and walks away. And Derek is just kind of shell-shocked.
You may be at a loss for words, but she's serious. She'll take your head if you don't retrieve it.
And he through his detect thoughts to Rain, says, "Oh, I know that, Captain." And he like turns and sees Silex behind him. He's like, "Oh, Jesus." He kind of gives like a excuse me, like polite, like one of those like butlers who like welcomes you into a nice home, like, come on. And he kind of like gives you like a motion to move out of his way so he can leave.
I will step out of the way and just watch him as he walks, picks up his stuff and leaves.
Yeah, and then he like softly reaches his hand out and kind of like almost like in an embarrassing face to ask for his blades back. It's like,
Ting, 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 ting.
he picks him up, puts it back on, and he kind of skips backwards to where the sand one is, and he like jumps through the sand dune, and Derek is gone.
He jumps through the sand dune. That's not Findlewind, where Bradbury thinks is located.
Do we know where the locations are? The fall one and the.
I wrote
The only
down
two you
his-
know are the meadow and the winterscape.
Well, he
The
just told
meadow,
us.
He mentioned Venovia and Athena,
those were 4 and 5.
right?
then the third one,
Candor Forest.
He hasn't told
Jorvik.
you what the third one is.
I bet it's Jaru.
So all you know is the Candor Forest for sure, 'cause you've been there. Jorvik, because you've been there. He said Venovia and Athena.
I almost asked him, and I felt like I was the one missing that information.
And then that third one that's in this same hallway, you do not know for sure. I mean, you may have ideas just because of the landscape. You don't know.
Right.
I thought I heard Findlewind as well in one of those. And then, yeah, okay, maybe I'm wrong.
No,
So
you've heard of
it's
Venovia.
It's definitely like somewhere in the northwest region, either Jaru or the name is escaping me.
The Red Waste.
Yeah, the Red Waste.
Well, if Bradbury is who he was hired to kill, he just jumps towards a place that does not look like what I would imagine, at least Candor Forest being the closest thing to Findlewind from the tunnels opted to him. So I don't care to go after him, but unless somebody does, he just escaped into the you have to go this way, and he just went whoop.
Let's
Not
get
our
stuff.
responsibility.
Let's get our
He has a month.
win-ins, and I thought the plan was to visit Sage and their home.
Rain's
Your daddy.
family.
Honestly, that's Ombi's problem now. So yeah, that's fine.
Well, do we want to, is the plan to like regroup here and then head there? Or do we want to regroup on the ship? Because I mean, we have to go back there anyway, because I need to get to Centuria, but
Well, maybe if we
Ultimately,
have to go back to the ship, we'll go back to the ship and then come back in. That's fine.
yeah, let's
Okay.
plan on that.
Cool. So after all this, you guys go back, and some of the tieflings that were kind of working on the butchering of Alcarante. It's the best way to put that. They're
Silence
like,
is like a kid in a candy store right now.
yeah, they're like getting good work done. I mean, this whole interaction maybe took about 10, 15 minutes. So like they've done a decent amount. They're probably getting close to maybe about, I don't know, I would say like 3/8, just under halfway of getting through, like descaling, tearing the meat off of the bones, cleaning the bones off so that you can actually get your use of them, things like that. The motion of putting the gold pieces and sorting and magic items and things like that at this point is almost complete. There's like, you guys walk back into that horde room where Calvax has kind of had his tantrum, and you guys see like a fairly large pile of gold pieces. You see some different gems and assorted kind of nice like rocks and things like that look like of high value. And then you see kind of these different, you see a lot of like tattered pieces of things, but you do see a few different actual like items that seem to be untouched or missed by Calvaxis during his destruction. Who's all going into the horde and who's staying out by the dragon?
I'll go to the horde.
Oh, I knew you didn't have to tell me that. I knew you were going to the horde. Sorry, let me rephrase. Who's joining Silex on his way to the horde?
Me, of course. Kree.
Okay, Kree.
I mean, who doesn't want to see the spoils of war, really?
Yeah,
pretty
pretty
much everybody.
I mean, I assume
Vitra's not. Vitra didn't raise her hand. You don't care? Okay. Vitra's gonna stay out there.
I'll stay.
Are you doing anything to help with like the sounds so bad, the butchering of Alcarante?
No.
No, just kind of watching.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Just
So
watch.
Vitra's just like,
I just imagine her in the corner, just like fully disgusted, but also very resolved. Like, yeah, this needs to happen, but you.
Vitra, I need you to make a perception check.
See, I knew I should stay.
I actually would like to change my mind. I'm going to go into the tunnel where the sand is and go into it about 20, 30 feet, take a look around and see if it looks like something I've seen before, and then come back inside.
Okay. Yeah, you get out there and the winds are kind of high at this moment. Like some of the sand is kind of spraying against your face, and if you weren't undead, it'd be super unpleasant. But you do kind of start to walk, and you kind of see this almost mountain of sand in front of you, very high dune, and you kind of climb your way up, kind of fighting through the wind and the sand blasting. You get to the top, and you do see a couple of very familiar golden towers of Jaru.
Sweet, I've confirmed what I was looking for. Thank you.
And you turn around
I got
and
a
you see it.
21.
A 21. Okay. Cool. For everyone who's going inside the horde room, you see kind of what I said earlier as far as the piles of things, but to be more specific, there is 1.3 million gold pieces. There is, oh, what did I just do? Sorry, my computer just had a fucking fart. There we go. 1.3 million gold pieces. There is 2,000 gold pieces worth of diamonds. There is 1,400 gold pieces worth of beautifully cured sapphires. When you look over at the kind of the trash pile, there's a lot of things that seem to be kind of like broken, disenchanted, and destroyed. But there are still a few things that survive the wrath of Calvaxis. Gosh, it's going to be kind of hard to do this. You know what? You guys are all at home. You can look stuff up. The first thing that you see, if anyone wants to write these down, I can also send these over in the group chat. As far as, you know, the item and the, like, you can look it up. These are all, I didn't create any items. I was going to, and I changed my mind out of it. But these are all items that are canon to D&D. So you should be able to find them in D&D Beyond or like D&D Wiki. But you have the boots of Elvenkind. Since it's Silex that's looking, I'm assuming he's just casting Identify on all of these, so he knows what it is. There's a brooch of shielding. There's a broom of flying. There is sovereign glue.
Sovereign glue?
Yes. There is a bundle of arrows of slaying. Oil. There's a small vial of this clear liquid. I guess I should be describing what they look like. Sorry, but there's like a vial of this clear liquid that's almost in this almost too perfect crystal vial. And Silex knows that as oil of sharpness. It's pretty cool. And then a very peculiar little box, that it's just a box that's about this big in its current state, and it just has a tiny little shape on it that looks like a half circle, a line, another line, and a triangle, almost like a little child's representation of a sailboat. And that is a folding boat. And then lastly, they are some of these you may have seen, the goggles of night. So they're small, like spectacles that have a strap to go around that can be rested on someone's head. The boots of Elvenkind, just so you guys kind of know the style of them, they are absolutely Fintheon made. They have the green, the kind of dark emerald, like shined metal look to them. They are very beautiful. They look like sturdy and heavy, but upon picking them up, they're extremely lightweight, as you'd imagine elves. The brooch of shielding, essentially it's just a small pin that would hold together a cloak. Really doesn't look like anything astonishing. I think it was designed to look inconspicuous. The broom of flying, it does not look like a typical broom. It actually, when you look at it, it looks like if somebody was trying to like make their own broom, but had never seen a broom before. Like the idea, like it's like they tied a bunch of straw at the end of a stick, but it's not like finely put together at all. It's very kind of scrappy. The sovereign glue is a milky white substance in a jar with a lid that says "Do not open" on it. And then the arrow of slaying is a bundle of 8 arrows that are in a current quill.
What was the last item? What was it called? Goggles what?
Goggles of night.
Okay, thank you.
So all of these are really cool.
Things, sorry. Of the broken things, how many seem repairable?
Repairable is kind of a hard question. So do they seem like you can rebuild it, like mend it, or re-enchant it?
Both, either.
So not too much, because frankly, a lot of those discarded like broken bits are like shredded by a dragon and crushed and destroyed. So it's more of you'd have to recreate a lot of these devices from scratch using busted materials. So I mean, anything that you could create, you probably could if you knew how. But the materials used here would not really be the like best starting point.
Is the vest here that Derek?
Vest is not. Right? You don't even see pieces of it.
All right. So the 1.3 million gold, is that our share, or is that in total what's in this room?
That's total.
Okay. So Aubrey gets 80% of that, correct? Is what the deal was. And then we can take all the magical items.
So you guys collect a total of 260,000 gold pieces.
Okay. I'll take all the broken stuff and I'll try and break it down and just use them as raw materials for other stuff. And then separate out the stuff once we get back to the boat.
Cool. So it's going to take some time. Sorry, go ahead, Mandy.
I'm sorry. The vest, it wasn't the one that you had described on Derek, was it? Like the corset?
No, you guys would have recognized that right away. No. Sorry, it's going to take some time to kind of shovel all. So I'm assuming we're still using Silix's bag of holding to try to collect all of these items. And so his bag of holding isn't very big as far as like the size of it. So it's going to take some time to like shovel all that in, because you do have to it has to fit in that size of hole, right? So it's going to like kind of hand put everything in there. It's not going to take hours or anything, but it's definitely going to be faster than just like scooping it all up quick in a quick 5-second thing. So probably take you guys about 15-20 minutes or so to shovel all of your riches into the bag of holding. But you do have 2 bags, so it might be a little quicker if you are going to split that up.
Do we happen to have a locate object spell amongst any of us?
Yeah, either of us can do it.
Maybe you can find the vest that we're looking for if it's not destroyed.
Yeah, I can try. I'll go ahead and cast it, thinking about the vest.
Thinking about it. Let me pull it up, make sure this is what I think it is. So you cast it with the like specifics of what the vest looks like. Excuse me. And you start like looking around, looking for that little beacon, and it does not seem to show up here.
I wonder if one of her previous followers got a hold of it and is using it.
It entirely, yeah, it could be possible.
Did we find the dragon glass armor that I created?
We found it last time.
Yeah, you found it.
What about that ring? The silly ring that makes the person who's trying to cast a spell.
Invisibility.
Yeah,
Bu-
yeah, no.
Bureaucratic paperwork
Yeah,
or
the
whatever.
bureaucratic paperwork ring.
Bureaucratic wizardry, if I recall.
Mhm.
You do not. Are you casting locate object on that? Or are you just looking around
I
to
don't
find
know
it?
if I may not have that another spell slot for that. Hold on. I do have one more, so I can one more second level, so I can do it.
We don't need the ring. I'm not too worried about it.
That's fine.
I thought our plan was to put that on Freyr or
that was why I was
on-
thinking about getting it, because
or onto any of the two other Findlewind wizards we need to kill, which is
Right.
Eberron and what's the other guy? I can't think of his name. Starts with a B, if I recall.
Yeah.
Benjen would know.
Balin.
Benjen says
Balin,
yes, it's Balin.
It's not Benjen, it's Balin.
No, I said Benjen would know.
No,
and he
Benjen
said
would
it's-
know. Yeah.
I
Right.
thought you were being sarcastic, but I thought you meant Bradbury.
No.
But that's Aubrey's.
Yes, Bradbury.
Thank you, Benjamin.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, you guys kind of finish up here. Is there anything else you want to do while you're in the caverns? Like, what's your plan?
I let you guys know that the sanded area is Jaru. I went out and took a look at it, and that's where Derek just went.
You had asked me to roll perception and
Yep.
tell me anything after that.
Yep. You didn't see it.
A 21? You ass.
I feel like I know where that armor is now. There's a goblin around here who's stealing shit. Meta.
All right. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to do in here? Or we head back to the ship. Xeris does take a few of the tieflings back to the ship to make sure that it's kind of functional. And he says that he's gonna try to talk to his son a little bit and do some more fatherly just really try to connect, sparring, a lot of bare knuckle fighting.
We have the dragon glass, correct? The chest.
The chest of dragon glass? No. You have the dragon glass armor that you created. The chest was not in here.
We found the chest half full last time. Did we not?
We did.
You found
it was an open chest and it was half full.
But you didn't find so when Bradbury told you how much it was, like when you guys first found that chest, there was probably, if each little piece of it is worth 500 gold pieces, this chest was probably worth $500,000. Like, it was super full and wealthy. And now it's maybe, I'd say, like a third or like close to half. Like, it's way less than what it was when you guys first found
that's
it.
fine. I just want to make sure we have whatever's left with us.
You do.
Okay.
You wouldn't have the chest. You would have taken the pieces out to put it into your bag of holding.
We have a pound limit on that. How many pieces it was, Shade, or how much it was worth?
Yeah, if you're taking it out like piece by piece, we'll say.
I don't ever want to be around if your bag gets exploded for any reason. Just shards splaying everywhere.
Yeah, so there was about 79 individual pieces of dragon glass. So equaling around, if they're 500 each, around just under $40,000 or 40,000 gold pieces worth of dragon glass.
All right. Okay, we're good to go back to the ship.
Cool.
I'm gonna take a look around as we're leaving to see if there's anything out of the ordinary.
Are you looking for anything specific, or just kind of like looking around the cavern to see if you notice anything?
Just look around the cavern and see if I notice anything.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
Has to be higher than a 21, apparently.
Oh, it's way higher than that for her.
$24.
24.
No.
Yeah, you notice that there's like a lot of kind of maybe you didn't notice when you guys were fighting, but there's definitely a lot more refinements to this cave than just it being carved out of rock, right? You notice that some of the like pieces of the wall seem to be kind of built in, like structuralies to keep it from caving in. So you do notice that there's some, kind of cool architecture designs throughout the walls in the caves. You do see some like hand carved little bits of like I said, just architecture in the walls, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Cool. So you guys make your way back to the ship, kind of heaving things back as you go. Lots of trips by tieflings to carry dragon bits and scales and bones and meat back to this ship, to the diplomat. Ombre is going to approach Rain as she leaves. Rain, do you mind if I have a moment?
Of course.
And she's going to kind of pull you off. So there's like almost like this like army ant style like walking path where all the like workers are like going kind of past each other, like taking stuff up and going back in. And she kind of pulls you off to the side. She's like, it wasn't your first time interrogating someone, was it?
Yeah, kind of. Usually Sage does interrogating and I just kind of sit back and listen.
Yeah, I've noticed that about your sister, that she seems to be a little more brass. Seems to have a little more grit to her than when we first met in Athena.
We've come a long way. Yeah.
First time I met the two of you, you were both shaking in your boots at the sight of blood. But look at you now, willing to kill a man where he stands because of his allegiances. Would you have let her do it? Would you have gotten in the way if she said, I want to kill him now? Curious.
I would have gotten in the way.
I wouldn't have, but I'm glad to know that you have heart.
I do not feel the need to kill someone unless we absolutely have to.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I just typically feel like, a dead mouth is a silent one. But in his case,
he just has no tongue. So, I mean, can't say anything if he wanted to.
Well, that's not entirely true, is it? Depends on where he's captured. Right? You all are, really coming into yourselves as sorcerers and wizards and magic users, and you were able to get him to talk. Imagine what would happen if he fell into Findelwin. Some people have those skills as well. So I would have killed him, where he stood, but keeping him alive, I suppose, has merits as well. Maybe he will find that coward Bradbury and slay him and bring me his head, and then I'll kill him at that point. I'm not going to pay him, of course, but at least Bradbury would be dead.
Why do you want Bradbury dead?
Yeah, he's a little weasel, isn't he? He'll just say anything to stay alive. Those kind of people will turn against you, or turn against your friends, turn against their friends. Anything to get by. At least my true enemies, I know who they are, right? They make themselves known against me, like holding me captured in a frozen place. At least I know that they stand against me. It's the people in the middle I don't trust.
The ones that are sketchy, that say one thing but do another.
Yes. Now, this Derek fellow that you interrogated, personally, do not think he's one of those people. I feel like he will try to find Bradbury and he will try to kill him. I don't think he will be successful. So either Bradbury will kill him, Findlewind God will kill him, or he will kill him. Either way, I win. Derek's dead, won't speak. Bradbury's dead. And then I kill Derek. So I just wanted to thank you all for letting me into your fun. This was great. Haven't had a good interrogation in a while.
You helped us out. We owe you. So.
Oh, and the debt has been fulfilled, my darling. Anyways, back to the ship, and she like kind of turns and walks back to the line of workers. You just kind of get this like weird feeling of like, did that conversation go how she wanted it to, or how you wanted it to? You don't know. It's just like a weird feeling when she turns away. You don't know if she had an agenda when she was talking to you. But as you walk away, you definitely kind of have like this weird feeling, like, I think that went well, but you have no idea.
Yeah. That's the feeling. I was like, I don't know if this is going well.
She does go back to the ship. Ombre does float back up to her deck. And at this point, the ship starts to kind of float a little bit and then go back down as she's like trying to play with the gears and get it set back how she likes it, from when Silex was in there messing with all the dials.
I guess my question is, are we
messing up the
here?
seat, readjusting the steering wheel, she's getting it all set back up.
I guess I'm curious, are we staying here on the boat and hope she takes us to where we need to go, or are we just going to take the tunnel to go to the Candor Forest if we've agreed to go see your parent?
I thought we were taking the tunnel because we know that's
I thought we were going to leave Ombre for a bit.
Sorry. I have a couple of concerns that I think need to be addressed, but I don't know if this is a conversation. I would imagine it probably, one, needs to be a conversation with Centria, but two, I think we need to have a conversation, or I need to have a conversation with Ombre as well. Of one, is she comfortable with us taking Centria? Because she does have, there's that, just on like that emotional level, and also, this is the woman that raised her. But two, I'm also a little concerned that we have the eye, and I'm a little worried about leaving Ombre again when we have the eye, because Amalthea could end up using that and kidnapping her again to get the eye. Does that make sense?
I mean, she's her own person. She's way stronger than us. And last time I think she was kind of blindsided. This time she might be expecting, that she may be a target for whatever reason.
Come to think of it, I never did ask her, and I will go try to find her.
Well, okay, I'll come with you.
I mean, I didn't mean to press the issue, but I never did ask her, like, how did you get captured in the first place, being so goddamn strong all the time?
Right. So that was my plan, is I was going to talk to the group about it, and then I was going to also bring the option to Ombre. So
okay, we'll get to her when we get to her, so we can talk about what we need to now.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure. Centria doesn't seem like she's in any sort of state to. Well, all she has memory of is what it was like before. So when she gets there, it's not going to be the same.
I agree. I am a little concerned, and again, this is coming from both places, right? Do we come back and tell Centria, by the way, we've been back to see Fenry and we didn't bring you? Do we take her off the ship and then tell Ombre later, by the way, we took Centria? None of this feels fair. So at minimum, I think we need to be transparent with what we're doing.
I think you also need to keep in mind Rain's mother, right? I mean, she's now in the picture too. And you just said that Centria was alive. Have you talked to Fenry about if he's okay with bringing his thought to be dead wife into his home with now his new wife.
On this episode of the telenovela.
Maria,
Well-
¿por qué?
I'm happy to keep her here too, but again, that also requires a conversation. So I think it just kind of depends on.
Is there a village near y'all where your dad is, or is it just like his lone house in the middle of the woods?
We live with a community in the. That was weird. We live. we we live in a community of other I guess castaway elves from Fendelwind, and we have a community out in the trees.
So it's kind of a town. Is there a place we can stay that doesn't have to be with your father? We kind of need a moment to rest, recuperate,
Sure.
build some things.
We would
I've never felt
We
so
would-
dead than this moment now.
we would likely be camping because we live in the trees. My suggestion, if we're not leaving or if Aubrey's not planning on leaving tonight, is that we get some sleep tonight and then take the tunnel in the morning.
No, I mean more of if we have to stay put for a few days to get some things done or to gently ease Centuria back into the moment, we can stay near your village or in the village. But if there's not a town, if there's not an inn, if there's not a a forge,
Is
or
there a
whatever,
blacksmith? Is what he's looking for.
No, there's no blacksmith, but we are within walking distance of the shadow skirts, so
Yeah,
we could
which is where your
always.
bar is, Silex. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. So I mean,
So we're
back to where it all began.
yeah, exactly.
And unless they have a good artist, some of us don't look like ourselves anymore. So we may be under the radar for the most part.
I may be more on the radar with these horns.
We'll cover you up.
Get you a hood.
Well, the main person that caused the problem in Arathian is dead. Mercule, be praised. And Silas is different. Rain looks different. So I'm a zombie basically.
Still a bird. Was a bird. Still a bird.
Well, it doesn't seem like a lot of people enjoy birds anywhere we go. So that's like a neutral base for you.
Eternally fucked. Okay.
Standard dislike across the land.
Yeah, we
Like visiting New York, I would guess.
head out in the morning. I'll go talk to
Let's do
Ombre.
that.
We can go
Yeah.
get the cart and the dragon stuff ready to go, and then go in the morning.
Yes, let's do that. So I guess I'll head that way wherever I'll head to the control room.
What time of day is it? Is it like midday, evening?
Getting close to evening.
Okay. I guess I'll head to the top of the ship, do some meditation to Luna, and then go to bed.
Okay.
I am accompanying Sage to the control room to pose a question to Ombre as well.
Okay. You guys make your way up there, and you see Ombre kind of behind the wheel, kind of like the equivalent of like checking her mirrors, just making sure there's like good viewing on each side. And then as she's looking
State
back,
of
she
manual.
sees you up. She's like, "Well, hello."
You have a minute?
Sorry, but
We are making our plans for what comes next, and it seems that one of the tunnels leads to Maya and Rain's home area. We're determining what that's going to look like and thinking we may take that route in the morning. But before we did, I wanted to discuss some options with you and hear your thoughts.
sure. I mean, it sounds like a fun reunion tour.
We'll see. I guess the first question that I have is Centria. I can take her to see how that will integrate, but ultimately she is the woman that raised you, and I think you absolutely have a right and a say to where she is and where she goes. I have not informed her of this. I don't intend to until we speak. What are your thoughts and what are you comfortable with that?
That woman that's down in the barracks at the moment is not the woman who raised me. There's no idea who I am. I have no idea who she is.
Has she tried to speak with you?
A few times in passing.
How's that going?
Oh, terrible. She had no idea who I was. She asked where the bathroom was. It's embarrassing on her ship.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah, take her.
I would imagine with how I'm feeling, it's probably not even half of what you're feeling. So for what it's worth, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's just people come and go. I guess she came and now she has went.
Yeah. Well, along with that, maybe my concerns are unmerited, but now that we have retrieved the jewel that unfortunately you were tortured for and taken for, I'm a little worried about leaving you on the ship. Obviously, you can take care of yourself. Obviously, now you're prepared. I get it. However, I'm a little worried because ultimately I don't want you to get taken hostage again. And it's concerning to me on that end, but also I wouldn't want to be alone right now either. So I wanted to check in with you on that too.
How were you captured, you and Centuria, last time? I don't think I had the chance to ask.
Oh, it was lovely fun. You see, as much as I adore your compassion and the kindness of wanting me to be safe, I think we can, at least now we know what to look for. Last time they came not as an army, not as a brigade of fierce warriors, but she came in the form of a small little field mouse, hopping along the deck. One of the men looked at it, thought how peculiar that a mouse made its way up onto my ship. As you know, we don't touch ground. And who better to inspect it than our dear Merrill? Oh, to all of our surprise, when he looked down into this little mouse's eyes and collapsed. So naturally, tried to shoo it off the ship to figure out what happened to poor Merrill. It couldn't have been the mouse, right? And slowly, one by one, Goliath fell, creating a thud on the deck and another. Before I know it, everyone was taking a nap. And then I woke up, chained to some ice wall.
DC put you to sleep, I would guess.
Yeah, so now to avoid getting tortured and stolen, I just need to set up a few mouse traps. I kid, of course, but at least we know some of the ways that they try to trick you. Evil is what evil does, I suppose. But no harm done. Those Goliaths were cowards. As we woke, and they were all gone. As soon as they saw that their two leaders were away from the ship. So now I have a new crew. I think of it as a blessing in disguise. Zarys's companions work hard, terrifyingly brutal. I just came into a large sum of money for helping you all. Fresh start. Just never look a field mouse in the eye is the lesson I learned last week.
Well, maybe we can get to that positive side at some point. Not quite there yet.
Oh, it's lovely. Yeah, when you go through enough trauma and tragedy, it starts to really just, create an easy way for you to think of the good things. Isn't that right, Dad?
Yes, that is exactly correct. And as a side note, if you ever come across a squirrel and his name is Cecil. That's one of those small rodents you can trust.
Oh, I know. He was my employee.
Oh yes, I totally forgot about that. Death plays with your memory. Okay,
he's my favorite little squirrel. I think that's probably why we were so sweet to that field mouses. No, we miss little Cecil. Even though he was perverted as all get out. To answer your question, Sage, no, I don't mind if you want to take Sage on this journey, but I mean, keep caution, as a mind is a fragile thing. Not everybody is used to the entire world going away in a blink and then coming back after a second blink. So maybe ease into introducing her back to her ex-lover in the arms of another woman. For her sake. I don't care for myself, but for her sake.
You know, it's not even sure she's going to want that, considering I'm going to have to give her all that information before we head that way. I mean, where they're living now isn't even where she lived when she was in Fendelwind, so I'm not sure she's going to want to join us, but we'll see.
Very well.
We were hoping to head out in the morning. Can we use our rooms tonight and leave early?
Of course. I did have a question for you, Father. Nothing serious. Well, sort of. And she kind of puts her hand on that, like the hilt of that blade that you know is extremely sharp. Not in like a like gonna draw it way, but she just kind of sets it there for a second and says, I seem to be missing some gold from my room. Do you happen to know who took it?
For a brief, I will think for a brief moment. I want to make a little shitty joke going, squirrels are very good at taking money. But yes, I do have a bit of your gold as you request, as you mentioned.
Oh, goodness, I was hoping I didn't have to go on a killing spree. I assume that will be returned, right?
I mean, I could definitely return it to you now. I think the majority of our funds are with Silex, and so most of what I have here was yours to keep. I did have the intentions of returning it. I assume you don't want me to dump this here in this room.
How about this? As a personal thank you to the two of you for bringing my ship back to me in one piece, finding me a whole new crew, and allowing me to help with this, why don't you keep the gold? Not for your whole party necessarily, but for you two. Spend it on something nice. Maybe you can buy your own ship so you don't need me to chauffeur you around everywhere. Or you can definitely give it back. That's totally an option, but you don't have to do that.
Well, for this one time, I will be greedy and say I think on behalf of the party and myself, as well as Sage, we would gladly accept the money.
It's generous. Thank you.
I'll earn my money. There's always ways to make money in war.
I do have one other thing that was yours. And I'm going to hand her or hold out the gold box with the deck of many things in it. This I found as well. Admittedly, it is one card lighter.
It's like that's not your burden.
Or I can keep it, I suppose.
I'm never going to touch that again.
Did you ever have a chance to pull something from it?
Mm-hmm. I did. And it was cursed to me for all this time. Thank you so much for snooping and finding that and pulling a card. Cannot imagine how heavy a weight that bore.
I guess my question I guess I'm curious. What did you get?
I was one that was fortunate. Let's put it this way. I gained quite a bit of strength after my pull. A few elements of strength, I should say. However, not everyone's so fortunate. Not everybody gets the same. And you kind of see her like pause and almost like there's like a like a shudder, like where she like kind of catches her breath for a moment when she wasn't expecting like this brief bit of emotion. She's like, but as you know, some people don't always survive the deck. So be careful with you. Try to give it to someone else.
I will definitely listen to your warning. That's about all that I have to ask. Glad that you're alive, and I love you.
I am so glad I'm alive as well. I love the both of you. You guys are great. And honestly, Sage, I agree with you. You should have killed that buffoon.
Thank you.
But thank you for getting me a free assassin.
I hope he follows through. I'm a little concerned he's going to pop up somewhere he shouldn't.
He seems weak. If he pops up somewhere, they'll kill him. No harm done. Besides to him, of course.
Maybe it's harsh, and maybe my party thinks so too, but I kind of hope he does.
Oh, I don't wish
Like
him
I
to
said.
die. I wish he kills Bradbury first. And then he will die. But at least I get something out of it as well. He seems innocent. He seems like a blubbering fool, but that's his life.
Well, like I said, it's nice that you get to move to positivity. Maybe at some point I'll get to do that, but right now it's just a whole lot of anger.
Here's a trick I've learned. When something terrible happens, think, is this the worst possible version of this scenario? Be surprised. Most of the time it's not. Most of the time there's something far worse that could have happened. Just think of it like that, and then you're never in a bad spot. You're always doing better than someone else who would have fucked it up more than you did. At least that's what I kept telling myself when I was shivering in that cave. Is that, well, at least they're not lashing me. But it was rather cold, so thank you for rescuing. But you get on with it. Go get some rest. You have a long day of emotion tomorrow, and I'm sure that's heavy.
Well,
say hi to your
thank you.
father for me, or not. I don't know if that's weird. He doesn't know
I don't
me.
know if, yeah, we'll see. But I hope we see you soon.
Bye-bye. And she like kind of tucks herself back over to some of the dials and gauges on the ship deck or the control center. And you see her kind of just like twisting the same dial back and forth a little bit until you guys leave. Almost like making herself look busy. Yes.
I'm out of there as soon as I can. What is this? Oh, I remember what that does now. Click.
The ship's still, but she's turning the wheel. Oh.
Gotta get a feel for the play. A little bit of play in the wheel.
Well, I'm glad she let us keep the gold.
Yeah, that was nice of her.
So I guess we can stay here for one more evening, and then we can leave in the morning.
Yeah. We're accustomed to sleeping in trees and on the ground, but I would imagine we probably will be headed a little bit closer into the shadow skirts. So hopefully we can all be comfortable tomorrow too. But yes, I'm glad we're staying here one more night.
Cool. Is there anything else you guys are doing? We need the other group have anything that they're trying to accomplish tonight before they get some rest?
Just taking a tally of the dragon parts, specifically the bones and the teeth.
Scales.
The scales too, but bones and the teeth are what I can make weapons out of. So
There is.
scales for armor, so I want to take a pretty good tally of what I have and what I'm able to use.
So are you trying to put this all in your bag of holding? Because I don't know,
No,
some of these bones are pretty big.
So what I was hoping to run by you was to make a bag of holding with a hole big enough, like its own, like to make one out of the dragon leather, out of the dragon pieces that I could, because I can make a bag of holding within a day. So if I could make one and then put all the dragon pieces in it, and it would be specifically for that. Oh, that's what I was hoping to do, but I still want to take a tally of what there is, and so what I can use, so I can start thinking of what I want to make for people and stuff.
Yeah. So in total, now that you kind of go back and see the carcass that's been shredded down, there's like tons, like actual weight in tons of meat, like thousands of pounds of meat that's been peeled off of these bones. The bones themselves, naturally, as a beast that needs to be able to fly, surprisingly lightweight, still awfully heavy when you're looking at some of the larger bones, some of the like arm and wing muscles at the joints, right? Like things like that are pretty large, but all in all, if you were to put it into weight, I'd say bone wise, there's probably about 1,500 pounds worth of bones in total. And then there's thousands of pounds of meat. The meat is, this girl is big. Probably like 10 plus thousand pounds of dragon meat.
The meat is great and all, and we can take some of it, but other than eating it, I have really no use for it. So we can stuff that and then use it later. But my priority is the scales, the bones, the teeth, and blood.
Okay. Yeah. So blood. I didn't know you were trying to get that.
I can. That's fine if it's too bad.
Yeah, you probably could get some blood out of the like the muscle tissue and things like that, but a lot of it was obviously spilled during the slaughter.
That's perfectly fine.
But scales wise, there's probably 700 to 1,000 pounds worth of scales. Let's say about 1,500 pounds worth of bone. Now, specifically, some of the teeth are quite unique in the way that they were rooted into the skull. Kind of like a shark that's kind of designed to lose teeth. There's like multiple rows of these teeth as they go back, which now that she's dead and you're looking at it, you're like, oh, thank God she didn't bite into me, because there's like 6. It's almost like an opera house upside down in her skull, like the rows going back. And so you pull hundreds of dragon teeth out of the skull. And of course, you have the skull itself, which is about 15 to 20 feet long, just by itself.
I probably won't take the skull because it's too big to move naturally. But I will try and take the horn.
I will say the horn is about as big as her skull is. That horn goes like far. Gonna see in the even in the mini, you kind of see like her horn is like as big as the head.
But
you can. There's like the little baby horn.
I'll take it I'll break it down into pieces if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
I guess could I out of curiosity, like a medicine check wise, is there an application for like a dragon's heart?
Are you asking me or Shade?
I'm asking Shade, but he's currently cheese hitting or something,
Sorry.
so he needs to.
I thought you were asking something to Silex, so I took the
No,
risk
no,
of
no,
taking
so-
a cheese it.
Yeah, I meant to. Why? That's why I said make some sort of a check, because I wouldn't necessarily know anything about dragons, but
Yeah.
have I come across something that maybe has used a dragon's heart? There's got to be
Do a
something.
nature
about-
check. A general nature check. Or medicine. Either of those.
Well, even with a +10 to medicine, it's only a 19.
Okay. So you've definitely read in, like, you can't remember if it's a like history book, a book of medicine, or if it was some sort of fantasy novel, but you definitely know that, like, the heartstring of dragons can be, I'm just kidding. It's like inside of a wand. No, but you can, I knew a few people would get that. But yes, you do know that the, like, dragon, like, heart is more than anything just valuable, as most of the world thinks dragons are extinct.
Well, we don't have any way to cool or chill it, so I guess it would kind of be a waste unless we got something quickly done with it. So. Also, you could have said something about unicorn hair, I believe, or something, and I would have gotten that.
But the heart is, I mean, about the size of a building, like a small shack. Like the heart is massive. Like, you could stand up. Even Xeris could stand up next to the heart and still be like 4 or 5 feet too short to see over the top of it.
Just
Some
curious.
could say she had quite a large heart. You just killed her. No, she was destined to die. Awesome. Okay, cool. So you guys finish up kind of taking tally of dragon pieces and parts. Some of y'all are already on the boat, which is great. Anyone not on the ship right now? Sun is starting to set. It's getting a little dark. Cool. Cool. So nighttime, the moonlight starts to kind of peer up over the ship, where you guys are probably just kind of resting and getting through the night. You do all level up. I don't remember if I told you that after last session or not. So you should be going from, I believe, 10 to 11. And Zenro would be going from 12 to 13. So we do need to do some rolls for hit die and everything, because you will all be getting a long rest, of course, where this will be applied. Yeah.
Do you want to go in order or what?
Yeah, sorry, I was pulling up something on my side.
I'm sorry, remind me how to do the hit die for this again. Is it just whatever it says in the hit dice thing?
1 second. Yeah, so whatever your hit die is, like you're a druid, so it should be like a D8 or something, right?
Yeah.
So it's a D8. So you roll that, and then you essentially add your Constitution modifier to it.
Okay.
Unless you took some sort of feat or something to get you bonus to stuff like that. But I don't think you did. Goodness.
My health went up by 8.
Nice. Okay. So Silas got 8.
7.
Who said that?
Me, 7.
Okay, so 7 for Lady Sage, and then Kree. What did you roll as you're trying to pick out your dice? All right, Vitra, what did you roll? Kree's got
8.
some 8. Okay, cool. Nice. That's a good roll for you. Is that your roll or is that after Constitution modifier?
That's after.
Okay. So not as good, but still good.
Not as good, but I'll take it.
What are you up to now total?
91.
91. Is anyone over 100 yet? Should be a few of you guys.
Yes.
Or I assume we can re-roll ones.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I should say that. Yeah. Reroll any ones.
Okay, I got. I'm a total 106. I rolled a 7, and I have a plus
Nice.
2 on. So
Okay. And then Benjamin, what did you roll?
I rolled 8 with my Constitution.
Sweet. What is your total now?
113.
Woo!
damn, as a rogue.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through. Let me just make sure to update that. Oh my god. Oh my god. Level 11. 113. And then Freyr is dead. Zinro, you're level 13. And then you said you're at 106.
Yes, sir.
I'm just updating that on all y'all's like player profiles so that I can scale what's going to be attacking you. Vitra, I know you rolled already, but what is your total hit points now?
91.
91. Sorry, I know you just said that.
No, you're good.
Sage, what is your total now?
I've got 76.
Rain, same thing.
I have 88.
Cool. Kree.
I got 7 total.
So what's your like total hit points now?
28.
128.
Oh, Thori, you only have 128 hit points. Poor thing. Sorry, you rolled a 7.
Struggle is real here.
I mean, she's almost doubled up Sage.
Yeah, I did not think that a druid would be the lowest of everybody
Yeah,
here.
it's not great. Not happy.
And then Silex, what is your total HP right now?
108.
108. Cool. And then Benjamin's total is 113, right? Cool. I think I got everybody. Yeah, I don't know if I've shown you guys this. I know I showed Seamus, but there's like this software I use for like note taking on here, which is super cool. It's allowed me to kind of up my game, like DM wise. Yeah, check out this nerdy shit. So I have like all the player characters and like all your shit on here, but I have like all these different little tabs, so I can go to like a graph view and it shows pretty much our entire game. So if I click on anybody's name on here, like Benjamin, if I hover over it, it kind of pulls up different people and locations that's connected to them. So
That's cool.
Master Sinduin, Alcaranthe, you go to Lady Amalthea and she's got Freyr, Alcaranthe, Balin.
Gods and bad guy.
Yep. Yeah. And then like different locations are pretty cool too. So all the little orange dots are locations. So like the Josie Mountains is in the Fintheon Dynasty, Altelian Alps, Athos Beach, right? And that's where you guys ran into Amelia and Cecil was both in Athos Beach. So it's kind of cool to kind of have this all here. So it's been super helpful. And then if there's something like specifically like with Freyr, I'm not going to click on his name because it's going to spoil stuff. But like with Benjamin, I can click over here and now it's like his stuff. So it's pretty cool. So that's what I've been using to kind of guide the games, which has been
That's so
super helpful
cool.
for keeping track of everything. Awesome. Well, then everybody is leveled the fuck up. So congratulations. We're over halfway to godhood. How does it feel?
Good.
Feels good.
Believe
I just want to point out something to everybody. We now have enough money to build a base somewhere. Like
Yeah.
an actual
Base.
fortified position with rooms for everyone and whatever else we would need, or buy a
Be a
place.
good location to do that.
We could also put things down like teleportation circles or word of recalls that can
Exactly.
offer escape.
So I just wanted to point that out, that we have enough money to do that and some left over for item creation. But just so we can talk about that. If it needs to be near Fenduin or wherever, we can put it near one of the portals so we always have access to the portal. Like, we can build an actual castle kind of thing.
This may be very weird to say this, but we could actually put it in. Well, no, people could access those tunnels from other places. So my brain was thinking maybe we should do it inside where Alcarante just was, but other people would come into our territory all the time mistakenly. So never mind.
Do y'all know exactly what this folding boat is, how big it is?
I looked it up. It holds 4 people.
But the second version can hold 15 people. So there's 3 command words. One makes it go into a small boat, like a small canoe kind of thing. Or the second one goes into like a much bigger, like Viking style ship. It can hold up to 15 people. And then the third one makes it back into the little box.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we do have a boat by traditional means, and we don't have to bother Ombre if we want to do things the old-fashioned way.
We do. And we can also afford actual horses, should we want to do that now too.
Not be loved and turned into.
Maybe we can find some more princesses in distress.
So it's a possibility.
Yeah.
So the next morning kind of hits, and it's lively on the deck as Ombre has been commanding orders from the tieflings. So you hear kind of footsteps above you on the coal deck where they're starting to shuffle coal into the engines, and you hear the humming of those levitation engines as the new day wakes you all. What are y'all doing?
I gotta go talk to Centuria.
Well, while they do that, I'm going to work on a bag of holding big enough to put the dragon pieces in.
You want me to come with you, Sage, or should I wait?
I would wait. She doesn't know who you are.
I've been kind of avoiding that, so
yeah. Let me figure that out, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So
I'll be on the top deck meditating.
Yeah.
I wanted to look for a certain kind of weapon that we might have gotten from the dragon when we killed her.
Which weapon?
Are there any bows recovered?
There was the arrows of slaying that were recovered. Let's back up 1 second. There was the arrow of slaying. There was 8 of them in a quiver.
I'm thinking he's meaning like an actual bow. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was wondering if there was.
He's looking for a weapon to use, an actual bow.
No actual weapons were survived the onslaught of the dragon.
Yeah, I have a dagger, which is great, but I'd like to have a longer range weapon.
Let's put it this way: if you ask around with like Alcaron, oh my god, with Ombre, then you'll be able to find a bow. Bows aren't hard to find or anything. There weren't any magical bows or weapons like that in there, but there were the magical arrows. So any bow can shoot them. You just gonna have to, use them sparingly because there's only 8.
Okay.
But they're
You said to ask Ombre.
very fucking strong. Yeah. I mean, we don't have to role play it, but I'm just saying, ask around. We'll just kind of say you can find a bow pretty easily on this ship.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to take. I mean, you could probably just ask around. You probably ask Xeris, right, and his crew. They probably have bows and arrows because those were savages from the plains, so they would hunt. So you could probably find a nice longbow or compound strung bow.
So are we just saying that I found a bow? I can just add that. Okay.
Cool. Just for time's sake, since we got about an hour left, I don't want to spend too much time on stuff like that if we can. But yeah, you find it. But I don't know who's holding all the items that you guys found from Alcarante. Silex. Yeah, so if anyone wants any of those items, probably want to talk to him if you think it suits your style. But also take note as far as in anything that requires attunement. We're getting to a point where you guys all have like a lot of magic items. Each person can only have 3 attuned items except for Silex because he's special. But everyone else can have 3 attuned magic items.
Can I sorry. Can I ask for the boots? Can I have the boots?
Yeah, that's fine.
I want the broom.
Of course, does Mandy or does Folly?
I want to fly. That'd be cool with my monk self.
But first, you have to take lessons.
Shade, I rolled the 26 for item creation.
Oh, for the bag of holding. Yeah, I did. I'm gonna assume with all of the crazy amount of shit that you guys were able to find, it's not gonna be very difficult for you to do that. You just need to like kind of put yourself off on your own after a little while to get that created. So it's you can definitely get that done. It will take you about 24 hours to not to complete, but it'll take about 24 hours for like the enchantment to take. So you can essentially set it up, kind of set it and forget it if you want, but it will take about 24 hours for that to take.
So Shade, I have the Blade of Broken Mirrors, and in its dormant state, how do I get it awakened? How does that happen?
That's something you have to try and play around with. Have you tried to do anything with the blade besides just like cut people with it?
No.
Can't tell you anything. I can't tell you anything.
It sucks because I want to find a clever way to say something, but
Yeah.
I mean,
let's put it this way: it has the ability to wake itself up.
Okay. That should be fun.
think of it like an anime. Your thing does something cool. You just haven't done something that like channels whatever energy that is. So you will have to get there eventually while doing, you'll find out when it happens. You're like, oh, my super move has been unlocked, and you'll be able to do what Bidgen does.
That's exactly right. So yeah, that's just kind of a thing that's going to happen at some point that you may have already accidentally set in motion.
Sweet.
Thanks to a card that you may have drawn a long time ago that I never told you what it did.
Oh, I remember that.
And it's been going. Yeah, there was like that moment. You were like, so what did the card say? I was like, I don't know, man. Okay. So yeah, you find your bow, Benjen. Do you take the arrows from Silex, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I'll take those. What are they called again?
Arrows of Slaying.
Arrows of Slaying.
Mm-hmm.
I have 8, correct?
You have 8 of them. So when you pick up these arrows and you look at them, each one of them kind of gives like this glint. It's like they're like black shafted arrows, but each tip, it's almost like you see this black arrowhead that almost looks like, gosh, have you ever seen like lava once it's been like cooled down, kind of like that? It's almost coarse. It's like airy almost because like the air bubbles are trying to like escape it. So it's like that polished dark black, but it's also kind of opened up. Each tip, it almost looks like that. It almost looks like magmic. And as you pick one of the arrows up and actually look at it when it's not sitting still, the tip starts to glow red hot. Ooh. And after you take a few moments to kind of study this, you know that the particular type of creature that these arrows were built to slay were demons.
Okay.
So let me add this to your guy here.
All right.
Perfect. You said, who was it? Sage. You said you wanted to take those boots as well. All right. Might be able to manage that. Does anybody else want the boots or like fight for it? Are we good? She takes it. Cool. Were you able to look those up? And do you have any other magic items currently attuned to you?
I don't believe so because I gave up my ring. So, I've got no, because Kree, you have the astral shard, right? Oh, and I have the horn.
The horn of the hollow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I do have the
Scimitar.
Do you want it back?
Okay. No. I just wanted to make sure you had it, but I didn't have it. So.
Got that.
Yep. So as soon as you put on these boots, instantly it's a weird feeling because like your feet no longer make any sound when you step. They're all silent. So it's really cool. Kind of stealthy.
Nice.
All right. Anyone else want any of the magic items while we're kind of dishing things out here?
We'll give you the brooch.
Can I have the oil of sharpness? Does anybody care about that?
Did you want?
I was gonna look it up. That was the other one I wanted. I wanted either the brooch or the oil, but I was gonna look both of them up, see which one.
Yeah.
The brooch, it says like you're immune to force damage.
Yeah.
Because I guess I was feeling like that could maybe go to Xeris because he has to be up close with the person that he's fighting. He can't really the brooch of, I don't know, the brooch.
Yeah.
The brooch of shielding, because you guys are magical. You guys can be far away from someone, but someone like me or Xeris or sometimes even Kree, like we have to be up close with our people. So resistance against force damage may be helpful for someone who has to be like up front and close to the enemy.
So it's the full brooch of shielding is resistance to force damage, but immune to magic missile. It's magic missile. So it can be helpful, yeah. The oil of sharpness, it's a oil you apply to swords to give it a +3. I don't know how many uses it has.
Which is huge.
Yeah. It makes it a legendary weapon. But it has to be applied to a slashing weapon. So
that should definitely go to Kree. That should go to Kree.
Yeah, that should go to Kree.
Yeah, personally, my favorite of all the items that were given is the oil of sharpness. One, I just think it's a really cool idea that you just have like this really like beautiful oil, like it's just like sparkles and like it's pretty, and then you just like wipe it on like with a rag on your blade, and it's like shing, and it's like extra badass now. That's just like a cool idea that I envision.
How many uses does it have, Shay? Because it doesn't say in the part.
What I looked up said 5 uses, I think, but I might be looking in the wrong place because I was for something else.
Sort of. So it can do up to 5 different blades. So for instance, sorry. It can coat one like blade, or if you have like multiple like arrowheads, you can do 5 arrowheads. But it has like a 1 hour limit to how, so it takes a minute to apply and then it lasts for an hour. So like before you guys storm, a base or do something, she wants to wipe that on something, it's going to add a +3 to attack and damage.
Okay, yeah, but it's 1 use, right?
It is 1 use.
It is 1 weapon or 5 small bullets, basically. Five pieces of damage.
Yeah, so the way that I would see that is any item already, you're like buffing that item. So you want to use the what is that blade that you have the 9 lives. If you want to use like that 9 lives, you would still have the plus whatever that gives you, right? Plus you now have so I think that's only a so plus the 3 to whatever it is you already have on your attack and your damage.
Yeah,
so
because
it just really makes you
has a +9 already to attack, so then it would become a +12.
Well, because it's adding, that +9 is already assuming your proficiencies, but because the sword itself isn't going to be a +9, but it is like, but you're right, it would now turn it to a +12. but that would be
Okay.
temporary. So just make
For
sure
that
to.
1 hour. Right. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's memory.
Oh, but you also have those javelins too. If you wanted to dip those, and it would still work because I think you have a few of those. But cool. Yeah, javelins weren't going to be any use against Alcarante because they do lightning damage, but other foes they'd be great against. But awesome. Yeah, so you guys kind of dish out some of those magic items. Is there anyone else that wants anything?
I want the broom.
Anybody else want anything? Anyone?
Broom. If that's okay
right.
with everyone else.
I don't think anybody's fighting you over the broom.
Yay.
But there is this weird haunting voice.
No.
When you pick up the broom.
new master
No.
now?
No, I was totally gonna do Elvis.
Who doesn't have dark vision? Anybody? Everyone has dark vision. Just me.
But it can
Bunch of
increase,
elves and humans.
even if you have dark vision, the goggles can increase it by another 60 feet.
Yeah.
Kree doesn't have dark vision.
Yeah, I don't have dark vision. But what about does Zinro? Not Zinro.
Yes.
Does
Varys.
Oh, he's a tiefling.
Yeah.
Varys. Okay. Well, I kind of want.
We already have dark vision. I'm not going to fight you over that.
Okay.
You have the goggles. You weird bird with goggles.
Shut up.
And I looked up the goggles and they almost look like an owl. So it's like
Do
bird
they
on
really?
bird.
I'm pretending to be a different bird. A bird dressed up as another bird.
It's
Well, I'm gonna have so
long
much
with
fun
trimmings.
drawing all of this.
Yeah, I know, right?
It was a lot cooler image when you were in a Hawaiian shirt. Now you're wearing bird goggles and you have this sparkly blade.
Hey,
So we
I
have
changed my outfit. No,
Yeah, I'm aware. I know.
So we have the sovereign glue and we have the brooch of shielding if we want to dish those out.
I'm more than willing to give up the brooch to Zaris. Most magic items I probably won't really need. It's just the element of being the zombie. Like I'm fine for a lot of stuff.
Rain can get
Fair
the
enough.
brooch too. 'cause
Yeah, you can have the
there's
brooch
some
too.
creepy. But I'm gonna keep the glue because I'm gonna use it to make stuff. So
Totally fine.
So who wants the brooch? Is it Xeris or Rain?
I would say
Rain
Rain.
said she wanted it.
Oh, I forgot who wanted it. Did Rain want it? Yeah. I was throwing Zaris because I totally missed the part where you wanted it. I don't care who gets it.
Cool. A coup. And then Silex says that. No. And then who's holding on to the folding boat?
I will give that to
Minro?
Zidro's bag of holding.
Yeah.
Oh, and sorry, who took the goggles? We just talked about it.
Cree.
Cree took the goggles. Okay.
And then Zidro can hold on to the boat.
We're keeping nautical things in the family.
Cool. All right. All right. So it's a few moments after you guys all wake up, you feel a little refreshed. You feel stronger with these new items. You guys spent the night kind of getting to know and understand. Now, I believe you guys were going to go through the meadow. Is that the plan for today?
I gotta go get my friend.
Gotta have some difficult combos.
All right. Let's go have those conversations. So you're going to meet with Centria.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yep.
All right. She's in her quarters.
I'll go knock on the door.
Few moments pass and she opens the door slowly.
Hi.
Hello.
You have a minute?
Hi. Oh, I have lots of minutes.
Great.
What can I help you with?
Well, let's go sit down. I need to talk over some options with you about what our next steps are.
She's gonna wait for you to have a seat.
All right. We recently finished acquiring a cave And part of that includes some interesting transportation doorways, one of which leads to the Candor Forest. The Candor Forest is where Fenry is with his new wife. And when I say new, last 20-something years. I can take you there today if you would like. It's an option. You do not have to go. I've spoken with Ombre. She's comfortable with you staying if you would like to stay. But I also know that you don't have any comfortability here because you don't have any memory of here. I can't say the forest is going to be any different considering you were never there with us. But if you are wanting a conversation or to maybe at minimum get some closure with Fenry, I am more than happy to take you there today.
Do you think he would want to see me?
I don't know. I sent a message a couple of days ago, or I think yesterday, ahead to tell him that I found you alive and that you are not yourself. But there's only so much I can say in my message.
Not myself?
No. Can you agree with that?
I mean, I feel like myself. I know I don't look like it, but I feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Where do you go when you don't belong anywhere?
That's a good question.
I don't belong on this ship because she doesn't know me. I don't belong back at home because they don't know me.
Where do you want to
go?
be known? It's where you want to be known.
I want to be known with my family that I left moments ago. Just a few months ago, my daughter was crawling around the floor in a little flower pot, and then now she's all grown up and asking me where I want to belong. I don't know. I want to have my family. I think that's normal to want to have your own family. But
it is.
He's married someone new. So where do I belong?
I wish there was a simple answer to that. I think if anything, I can look at the options that you have. As I said, you are more than welcome to stay on the ship, get to know where you've been for the last 20-something years. Ultimately, I know you don't know the person that you raised. I would imagine she probably would be happy to get to know you, as am I. I can't give you those assurances on the forest. I do not know how that will go. So if that helps answer your question a little bit more. But ultimately, it is up to you. But unfortunately, that want that you have, as desperately as I want that too sometimes, I don't think that's an option for either of us.
Maybe it's best if I go on my own for a while.
Go on your own. Where would you go?
To find where I belong. Would it be too much to ask for maybe a handful of gold and point me in the direction of the closest town, and I'll figure it out? Been around for a few 100 years. I think I could make my way around this country. Mm-hmm. I don't think I could bear to see Fenry with another woman.
You do know there is a war going on. Can you protect yourself?
Apparently, when even if I do perish, I'd come back in exciting new ways. So I don't think I fear death in the same way as I maybe used to.
I don't know. I don't know how frequent that's going to be. The first was because Almo brought you back. The second was because I did.
Which name did you say?
Almo.
Sorry, I thought that sounded familiar.
What?
I thought that sounded familiar, but
where have you heard that?
I don't know. Sounds like nonsense.
Well, if that does sound familiar, that may be something to follow. That's the person that gave you life that first time that you died. And if you're remembering things or something is starting to sound familiar, then that gives me hope that maybe there's that part of you that we can get back.
Where is he? Where can I find this man?
He is the god of the sea. He rules the ocean.
I was brought back by a god?
Yes. Yeah.
Why? Why would Soul not bring me in? If I was going to be brought back by a god, it should be the one god.
We never got to have the conversation as to how that happened. The last I spoke to you, Olmo had begun to reach out to me, and you had explained to me that
wait, you've spoken with a god?
Yes. You have too.
What the I'm sorry. Wow. That is wow. A god, like an actual being beyond life.
Yes. He is
Was
actually
he radiant?
I've seen him in a few different forms, but it's beyond words.
Beyond words. I thought I heard Soul speak to me once. But it's hard to discern, your own, sometimes you think you hear things, and a branch brushes up against another tree in a fierce wind, and it sounds like a voice. You hear a wave crash, and it sounds like someone speaking in a hushed tone.
Mm-hmm.
Thought I've heard the voice before of my lord, but I always assumed it to be God of the Sun.
Yeah.
The father of the gods.
Soul has not shown us favors in a very long time. And
have you been providing him with your sacrifice and gifts?
No, I don't follow Soul. I haven't since I was a child.
Well, that may explain why he's not speaking to you, child.
Hmm.
Who am I to preach? I was only brought back from the dead. Maybe it's because I gave gifts and sacrifices.
We were brought back by a different god.
All gods are sons of Soul. But that's nonetheless just my Fenderwind speaking.
Yeah, I hear it.
I'll find a city, and I'll ask about this Olmo and other gods, and maybe I'll find my own belonging. Maybe I'll start a church of Olmo.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm a dwarf. Dwarves do cleric stuff. Maybe I'll be a religious zealot.
Is there a way for you to contact me? Is there a way that you will be able to get a hold of me if needed?
Sure. What's your cell phone number? Well, I did study magic for a long time. I can contact you, I suppose.
That's fine.
Are you able to speak with me? You know how to speak with one from a distance in the head?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Well, then we can always find each other.
Okay. Well, I guess this is goodbye for now then.
Goodbye for now.
I'm gonna reach into my bag and hand her 500 gold pieces.
Oh, quite a handful. She puts them into this duffel, and the duffel's just heavy. It's I don't know if that's quite necessary, but thank you.
I don't think there's words for what this is, but at minimum, hopefully this will provide some stability and some protection in the coming months and years. But I hope to see you before that, and I hope that you know that the door is open to come back and learn more about your time here.
My time here?
On the ship. That person did have value. I know you don't know her, but she did. And maybe someday it'll be worth it to you to know who she was.
Sure. She sounds terrible, but sure. If this was her home, she like looks around this little 6x8 room. She's like, sounds lovely. All right, well, I guess this is goodbye. She kind of turns to the door. And then she turns around and looks up at you from the dwarf stature. She's like, come on now, give me a hug.
Okay.
She like
down.
She hugs
really
like the back of your
awkwardly.
legs. Yeah, she hugs like the back of your legs. She's like, so weird. Last time I gave you a hug, it seemed like this was the other way around.
That's
And then she's
probably
just
true.
gonna, turn away with a little tear in her eye, and hobble out of there with her big ass duffel bag of gold.
Good luck. Sage is gonna like take a second. She's feeling some emotion, like sit down, cry a little, just take a second, and then head back to the rest of the group, pretending to hold it together.
Okay. All right. The rest of you guys watch Centria hobble out of the ship and float down and start to walk out into the forest of the Vesuvian Mountains. At this point, it's kind of late morning. You guys get food at the magical breakfast table that appears on the top deck. And then what do you plan on doing? Do you plan on going right away? Or is there anything else you want to do here?
If I'm being honest, I didn't want to interrupt the thing, but I would have said that I probably don't need to eat, so I wouldn't have been at the table. I want to go back to where those portals were, and I'm going to I'm just going to leave like one of my skulls on the ground where the portals are, and then I'm going to walk into the cavern a little bit because I wanted to see kind of how far this goes. I'll probably meander for 30 minutes or an hour, however I feel like it is, until people will come back. And just so I don't get lost, in case that's an element of it, I'm going to cast find the path back to where that skull was. So that way I don't get lost, just to see what else, how deep do these caverns go, and if there's anything else that's odd about them other than just being a place where she stayed.
Yeah, are you going into any of the rooms that teleport, or are you just like walking throughout the cavern?
Well, if I come across any new ones, I'm going to observe what they look like. I don't know if every single one of them is going to be the same pathway in and out, but I'll just take a notice of like, oh, that's dense forest or something. I'll think, okay, well, places with dense forest, and I'll just try to take a mental note. Actually, I can make actual notes since I carry my stuff with me, but
Got it.
Whatever I see.
Okay. Yeah, make a perception check as you're walking through the cavern.
It's a 21.
21.
No.
Yeah, you as you walk back into that big cavern where you guys originally walk in, since you're kind of looking for entrances and different pieces of that, you start to walk through back where you guys slayed the dragon, and like along one of the walls, you do notice that it's a little bit different color. So you walk over to it, and you notice that, oh, this is like a little side entrance. It just seems to be more tunnels like what you just came through. It's not intentionally hidden. It's just a little hard to see when everything you look at is gray and black. So you walk through there. It's actually kind of towards the bottom, and you start hearing the sound of rushing water. Like sound of like waterfall crashing, and you get around and you definitely see a pool of water and waterfall crashing into that water coming from the top of this mountain. It's not extremely large waterfall, maybe only about 10-15 feet tall, but it's still kind of pleasant to hear. You do see that there's an additional kind of tunnel that breeds off of that, so you go and explore. And that's where you do find the final two tunnel rooms, or final two rooms that lead to Venovia and Athena. When you approach these rooms, Venovia is interesting. And you know it instantly, because as you start to walk close, you start to get the smell of Crete, that like horse manure, like city stank through before you actually get there. And when you peek through this gateway, you see people walking past, looking through. Definitely like they have no idea this is there.
Yeah, you said right away I get the smell of the city, but I'm like, the city, none of them have been in cities. They've been outside.
Mhm.
This is like in almost like a 9 3/4 situation.
Very much so, yeah. It's a great way to put it. Yeah.
I'm going to take a piece of gold and I'm going to cast light on it so it's bright. It's still daytime, but I don't imagine it's going to matter too much. And I'm just going to toss it through and see if anybody notices a ting ting cling on the ground and if anyone picks it up.
Mhm. Yeah, you throw it out and it makes kind of a loud noise, and it's really bright and shiny. And you kind of look over and you see people kind of walking by, and then there's this little beggar child that kind of runs out and sees it. He kind of looks around. You see him just put it into his pocket and kind of run away quickly.
I'll chuckle and think, shame he should have stayed. I might have thrown him more. And yeah, whatever else I see. Otherwise, I'll make my way back towards the skull and go to the cave entrance for whenever they get there.
Well, as you see the other entrance to what you know is Athena, just from process of elimination, you see a familiar sight because you guys fought in these pits. You see the actual fighting pit, the Colosseum that you guys fought, the Hydra, the sands of that pit. And this is absolutely one of the pillars, one of the columns that built the Colosseum is where this gateway comes out at.
This could have been an easy way for Amalthea to talk to Alcarante, is my assumption in my head.
Well, you found them. You know where those are now. You do find your way back to your skull and to the rest of your group as you guys come down from the ship. And are you guys meeting at the meadows or the Candor Forest entry?
I believe yes, we are.
There we go. Yeah, I figured we would either meet on the deck and eat breakfast and then head down over there, or meet at the entrance.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, you guys eat breakfast and then head down there. That way you're all well nourished and all that. So yeah, you get to the entry point to the Candor Forest, and birds are chirping, bright sunlight. At this point, it's like mid-spring. It's past winter time at this point in the year, so it's like mid-spring. So most of the greenery is like full and luscious. Lots of vines up and down the trees. Flowers are blossoming. Extremely pleasant, especially for the Farafels.
As we leave, I want to ask, do we have a way of marking these doors on the other side of them so we know where they are? Because if we come back here, we may not be able to recognize it right away.
I have.
It would have to be a spell that's relatively permanent, so it is difficult to.
Yeah, I just picked this one, so I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm sorry. Give me just 1 second.
Can't we just do old school, like marking trees along the way?
We totally could.
Don't always need a magical means.
It's not very Dungeons and Dragons of you, but okay, no.
Breadcrumbs.
I mean, like, I didn't know if somebody wanted to burn a hole into the ground or something, but hey, weird hole. But I was just
like
just asking.
Break and tie on a tree.
I thought that Silex put something down, like on the ground in front of it. I can't remember that.
No,
like
he
we
was
talked
trying
about
to.
it.
He was trying to identify what kind of
Oh, okay.
spell it was.
Okay.
He determined that it was a teleportation circle because he found it engraved on the tree here at Candor Forest, and you'll find it similarly wherever you go. The entry point is going to be engraved.
Okay.
Oh, we'll see.
All right, never mind. There we go.
So are we walking?
Y'all tell me. What
Yeah.
are we doing?
Walking.
Yeah, let's go.
Walking.
So it's going to be about a 8 or so hour walk to get there.
I'm gonna walk next to Zenro and ask Zenro, do you still have that deck of cards?
Yes, I do, but it is potentially dangerous.
I'm aware. Sorry. Do you mind if I draw from the deck?
Hold on.
You do know that Ombre has told me that she was cursed with the deck. So if I give it to you, are you planning on owning it? I guess is my question, or do you just want to pull one?
I mean, I just plan to pull one.
Messing with fate is very dangerous, Kree. But it is your fate that you're messing with. So if you would like to draw one, I will not refute you.
And I will slowly take the box and I will open it up. And it's beautiful golden glory on the outside, and leave it there for you to look at.
So I'm going to ponder about it. And I'm going to say, you know what? I've lived a pretty rough life so far. Hopefully some good will come out of it. But if not, it is what it is. And then I'm going to take a card.
So first, you need to declare how many cards. Just one?
Yeah, just one.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Y'all, if I
Nah.
die, I'm so sorry, but that's okay.
Now I think he's gonna make you do like from the top or the middle. Or
I
something.
hope there's nothing that's like you lose all of your magical items or anything like that. Like that would suck.
You and
I
all
mean,
of your friends.
There is.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
There is one.
I don't know if like I should give you a number or if you're just gonna draw it for me, Shade.
I'm gonna like shuffle them. I'm just gonna like shuffle. Oh, not facing that way. I'm gonna like shuffle them up, and then I'm gonna like cut the deck. What I'll do is I'll shuffle them, and then I'm just gonna cut the deck however many times you tell me, and then tell me to stop, and that's where I'll stop, and whatever card's on top. That way, it's kind of randomized for me too, and for you, because there's a lot of cool shit in here, and there's also a lot of fuck things in here. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, yeah, we could either be cursed and hunted. I could die in an instant. Who never
You get to
know.
fight a Grim
Mhm.
Reaper.
Find a
Let's
Grim
just try to
Reaper.
spice things up. It's fine.
We don't have enough shit going on, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the sun card to take it out because that's what Seamus pulled last time.
As she does this, because I can do it, I'm gonna cast Death Ward on you.
Thanks,
It
Zenra.
prevents any instantaneous death effect, and if you get down to 0 HP, you come back to 1. We'll see if this is a matter of my god versus this deck of cards. If you get like an instant kill card, because that would suck.
It's a smart move.
Look at Zenro playing like
Go.
a good DM player.
Okay. Shuffle them up.
Listen, the only thing holding me back is the fact that I've run games before. Otherwise, I'm down for pure chaos. I want to pull like 4 or 5 cards in a row just to.
All right, stop shade.
All right.
Can't see it. It's
Oh,
Let's say you might.
it's gonna be really bright. I don't know.
oh my god, what is it? It looks dark.
The fates. Reality's fabric unravels and spins anew, allowing you to avoid or erase an event as if it never happened.
That's a good one.
Okay, I gotta think about this.
These two are gone. The sun and the fates. So what event in your life, actually
I believe
in the world, do you want to undo?
Even something that Kree wasn't part of?
Reality's fabric unravels and spins anew, allowing you to avoid or erase an event as if it never happened.
Y'all,
What?
does I was gonna say there's, if I
We
recall,
should discuss.
yeah, let's discuss. Can we discuss?
I was gonna say, does she have to make that decision this very moment? As
I
I'm
actually
asking?
don't know. Hold on.
Amalthea finding Freyr. Freyr being anything that's can be powerful.
Freyr being with us at all.
Well,
Yeah.
can we get rid of Orion?
Oh,
Get rid of Orion.
It says
Just to
an
ruin the
event,
whole
not a
campaign.
person. It's an
Oh.
event, not
Yeah.
a person.
Now you could
Or-
say
Yeah, like-
whatever conceived Orion, but Orion's like a god, so that's kind of a hard thing to say. If it was a human
marrying
being, you'd be like,
Amalthea?
if it was a human being or something, you'd be like, I wish they were never born, and then pff, that's an
Yeah.
event. So they never were born, but
Yeah, Orion marrying Amalthea. Amalthea being born.
I don't even know. She's like a
That would change.
demon or something.
So much.
Yeah, that
This
would
is
change.
hard.
Game would be over after this decision. I'll tell you that much.
I'm sure Shade would keep it going. somehow.
Oh, so allowing you to erase one event as if it never happened. You can use the card's magic as soon as you draw the card or at any other time before you
Save
die.
it. Fucking save it.
Okay.
Kree can't die now.
That is insane.
Holy shit.
What
Um,
the fuck?
And by
Okay,
the way,
Hold on to it for now because I really want to think about this.
Our game chat's gonna be really good.
Our game-
well,
this is
the
gonna be game chat,
the
guys,
card
for the next 2
disappears.
weeks.
The card disappears. It disintegrates after it's been pulled. But
Okay.
you have the ability to call the fates
Okay.
before you die. Now, I will say, just because of the way that I've spun the deck in this game so far, now that you've drawn a card, you are now beholden and cursed to the deck. So now the deck belongs to you.
Oh, all right. Well, sorry, Zenro.
Hey, it's all right by me.
Oh my
You
God.
will, Zenor, you do keep your experience and everything that you gain. Honestly, just to be legit, I think it'd be more of a pain in the ass to have to go back and try to like unlevel yourself up. I'm like, just keep it. But technically you would lose that as soon as you lose the curse ability. But
If you want me to
Yeah.
retro, I can retro. That's fine. I mean,
it's
I'm
not a big deal. I'm cool with it. Cinderella's kind of a character who, 1 or 2 levels isn't really going to change it that much. He can do some cool healing stuff.
I
but-
guess just as a curiosity, if I pulled a card from the Goofy deck that we still
Mhm.
have, is that
Right.
going to take away that effect?
yes.
Since you're being so kind, okay, then I won't bother doing that.
So if
just
someone
like whenever you pulled one from this deck, the asshole went away, stuff like that. Same thing. Like you can only have one of these curses, whether it's good or bad. It's still a curse. So you were cursed with the buff of extra levels.
Gotcha.
Like
So I
if
guess my question is,
Yeah.
is if someone pulls a card from my deck, does my event changing thing go away? How does that work?
no, because you've you haven't called on it. It's before
But
you
if
die.
I were to have done it, yeah, after I do it, and someone pulls a card.
Not if you're changing the event, because it's different. Like I don't know. I guess maybe I shouldn't mess with it. This is just something that I played with doing, because you're right. With this deck, it's too specific because there's like world altering events. The other deck is just funny, right? Like all the things you can get, like you're not going to die from pulling from the deck that Hannah has. You're not going to be able to do anything too crazy or anything, but I'd say actually, yeah. So the deck is still, we'll say, beholden to Zinro. Yeah, we'll say it's still beholden to Zinro. There's no, like, it's not cursed to you in that way. So no one loses anything, because that's going to be, yeah, you're right. Because as soon as that happens, like if someone else pulls a card, then yeah, if anything you set into motion with the fates, it'd get reversed. And I don't want to have to deal with the Uno reverse bullshit of all of that.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'm holding on to that then. We're going to definitely discuss what I'm going to do. We will move forward with traveling 8 hours by walking.
Wow.
Holy shit.
This is
I
why
saw
we
the-
fuck with fate, y'all.
I saw the dark like image, and I 100% thought it was like the Don John one, where you get like sucked into an extra dimensional space. Like I thought that's what it was at first. And then I read it and I was like, oh, okay, cool. There's no way you guys go 3 for 3 though. There's no way you go 3
What a
for
perfect
3.
side quest for us to go do is save Cree from another dimension.
Didn't happen. Don't gotta worry about it.
Whenever that time comes, that third card will be the tense one, because I feel like that's probably not going to be a good one.
I don't know how many more good ones there are. There's not a lot of them, to be honest. There's not a ton of great ones. Okay. Well, you guys are walking. That was just something she did while walking, so that was fun. Sage, what's up?
Can I do one little thing while we're walking as well?
Mhm.
I'm gonna pull out the conch, the shell phone, and I'm gonna send a message.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say, considering can you send pictures through it too, or no?
No, it's not an actual cell phone.
No, not like a sending, like in my head, can I like picture something and they and the person can say, no, it's just words. Okay.
Specifically just words.
Okay.
That would be dope though.
Well, that's I really wish we could do that with this moment, but it's fine. I'm gonna say, considering what we did to your little friend, you should be very worried. And then I'm just not gonna say anything else.
You hear shortly after, I'm sorry, who is this?
I'm not gonna answer. I can't, but
No, she's not done. She's not done. Sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry, who is this? Oh, I know this. You're the little girl playing in the women's game. Don't worry. You can't hide from me in that forest.
Was that Amalthea? Oh, okay.
She knows where
That's
we
all.
are.
Yeah. I guess I'll relay what was said to the rest of the group.
Well, I mean, I've scryed on many people, including herself, and she easily knows the ability to do that to us.
Mm.
Do you think that she has any ability to see who uses those tunnels and when? That's another thing too, like if we use the tunnels to get to certain places, if she's able to see that, as opposed to like us just naturally going to that place. I mean, obviously she can scry as well, but
I'm sure her Ring doorbell alerts her as such.
You guys do remember that
Doorbell.
the spell, the incantation, the writing of the arcane scripture around the wall was in abyssal. Which is like demon speech.
I can read that.
I was about to say Xeris can read that too.
No, I'm not saying that it was difficult to read. You guys were able to figure out what it was. They were just that the spell was written in Abyssal, the teleportation circle. So it was just like symbols that are that. It wasn't like I wasn't saying that as like, oh, you guys had no idea what it was because you guys figured that out last time. I'm just reminding you as far as like its origin. It was made by a demon.
Wonder who.
Well, all right then. So after a long day's walk and travel and deck of events, you guys make your way to a quiet little treetop village. You see a few of these different, essentially tree houses as you start to approach, kind of at the corner of your eye, of the top of your peripheral. There's a few different kids kind of running around and they see you and they scurry away. You see them kind of climb up their trees. As you guys start to approach, you see a lot of those like King of the Hill moments where they're just kind of peeking over. Just kind of looking out at you.
Home Improvement.
Oh yeah, Home Improvement. That's right. But yeah, you see a lot of people kind of looking at you. Kind of, they're like trying to stay hidden, but you can absolutely see them seeing you, essentially. And it's quiet. It's starting to get kind of late in the day. So it took you guys about 8 hours or so to get here. What are you doing?
We're gonna go to our
Go
home tree.
Yeah, you guys climb up into your home tree, and it smells nice. They were making a stew. It seems like a lentil soup almost, and it was one of the favorites that you guys had growing up. And you look in the kitchen, you see the pot, but you don't see any people.
They couldn't have gone far. They're cooking.
Where are they?
Search through. Are they in any of the rooms?
Opening the door, going inside, searching, see if we find anything.
After a few minutes or moments, I would say, you guys kind of looking through and you see cowering in a corner Finri and Arabella kind of looking up. What do you want?
Do they not know us? I'm gonna yell, Mom, it's me, Rain, and Sage.
My darlings, you look nothing the same. What happened to you?
A lot has happened.
A lot has happened.
A lot has happened.
And who's this with you, Sage?
But it's my sister, it's Rain.
Hi, Mom.
Rain, you grew up quite a bit in the 6 months that you've been gone.
I pulled a card from a deck. And this was what happens.
Well, you look lovely, dear.
Thank you. Apparently everyone else thinks so too.
Finri kind of steps forward and leans in and kind of gives you both a big hug. Also, while hugging you, he says, I got your message about Centria. Is she here?
No, but we need to talk.
Long hug. Maybe after dinner. And he
That's fine.
it's like, Bella, sweetie, we may need to make more soup. Maybe let's pull up some chairs. Let's they start to like scramble around the little tree house and pull some chairs up. Well, tell us what happened? I mean, what have you discovered? I know you went to look for, different things about nature. That's why you left. Wanted to experience nature. How's that been going?
Well, it's been an adventure. Let's say that.
That's it. You
well,
have
we-
fucking wings.
That's right.
And all you can think to say is you have an adventure.
I feel like it's just
Is everybody with us in the treehouse?
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, Silex, what was that?
Say it feels like just like the straight up Avengers and suits and everything just walked into mom's house. It's like, we're all armored and ready to go. And there's like, let's have dinner.
It's a Black Widow moment.
And to answer your question, Sage, no, only you two went up there, I assume, unless anyone else decided to climb up into the treehouse. The rest of you guys are just like kicking rocks down below, kind of looking up. Like you see a kid, you go, rah, and like, just kidding.
Well, I should say that the rest of our troop is downstairs. So
Troop.
yes, our group, the group that we travel with. Do we have room for more? Maybe they can fill in the.
How many is more?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more.
We'd love to have all your little friends up for dinner. It would be fun.
Maybe they can give some more details as to where we've been.
The more I'm investigating the two of you, the less I want to know where you've been. You have 6 bloody fingers.
I do. Yes, I do.
I'm
wings.
trying not to look at them, but goodness, do you have to get custom gloves made?
Just don't worry about gloves. Gloves are the least of my worries.
It gets cold out there, sweetie. You should wear gloves.
Thank you. Yeah. I'll bring the rest of the group up. So I'll kind of wave everybody up.
Those who want to come up, you invite up. It's very cramped in here. I mean, this is a house made for 3, but they fit 4, and now we have like 10 people in here. So there's not a lot of places for you to sit. It's just more of like kind of leaning up against the wall casually, like, hey, I killed people with your daughter. Hey. But you guys do see Arabella fixing up more and more soup. Every time she sees someone else come up, she's like, oh, there's another one. And then she goes to like put more, like at this point, she has 2 different pots of soup going, just working furiously in the kitchen. Fenry's trying to be the host and greet everyone as they come in. He walks up to Vitra's like, oh, now you, I recognize you different too. Did you always have those?
No, just it's
They
not,
suit you
just,
well. They look great.
It's subtle. Thank you.
And he like shakes your hand and kind of gives you a little bow. And you, sir, what is your name? He looks up and down Benjamin. Interesting, to say the least. You look good.
I give him my paw and I say, nice to meet you.
Pleasure is mine. Do you eat soup? What do you eat?
What have you got?
We have
Soup.
stew.
Oh yeah, that's stew.
Lentil soup? Is that okay?
Sounds wonderful.
Okay. I've never seen one of you before. So I'm trying to look anywhere else at the moment, but I just can't seem to get my eyes to stop looking at you. Very interesting. Oh, more humans. Hello, Silex. Heard so much about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You met before, right?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think I fucked up. I don't think he knows you.
He knew the name. He never met him in person.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, madam. I know you're fixing up soup for everyone, but we have plenty of meat to spare if you guys are into meat. Sage, Rain, they eat meat?
They eat meat, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Did you catch anything on the way?
Yeah, dragon.
Shh. Great.
Great.
Did you say a dragon?
Yeah, we killed a dragon a few days ago. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Yeah.
I'll just pull out one of the slabs
Sure.
of meat that's like
10 pounds.
10 pounds. Like, here you go. And I'll start cutting it up.
And he like looks at it. And he's like, This is all muscle. There's no fat on it at all. This poor animal must have been starved.
It was pretty big.
You say it was a dragon.
It was a dragon. Yeah, it was a dragon. I don't know.
Like an actual dragon.
Yeah. Yes.
An ancient dragon.
And how did you come across its meat?
We
I
killed
assume
it.
you didn't give it. You killed a dragon.
Yes.
Want to know something cooler? She can be a dragon.
I can. I won't do it here.
Sage Ferrofel, follow me. And he like kind of walks with you sternly.
Shit. Okay.
He like pulls you to like one of the only corners of this house that doesn't have a lot of people in it. And he's like, when you left, I specifically told you to keep both you and your sister safe. Now, where in that instruction did you get the idea that it would be okay to face off against a dragon?
We're safe, aren't we? We're here. We came to make sure you were safe.
You could have been killed.
We weren't. And quite frankly, we clearly have bigger things to talk about.
Bigger things than a dragon.
The dragon's dead. That's old news.
Well, so was Centria until a few moments ago.
Let's maybe talk about that, because ultimately, apparently she's alive. What were you told?
Was I told that she was killed? What do you mean, what was I told?
Who told you that?
The city. They don't come and talk to you in person. They send you a letter.
Who signed the letter?
I don't fucking know, Sage. It was 25 years ago, and it was about my dead wife.
Yeah, I know. You checked out real hard after that.
Yeah, I don't really think it's something I want to talk about or think about even. Is she
At
here?
This point, no.
Then how do I
not
even know
here.
she exists?
Oh, you don't believe me?
Well, who am I supposed to believe? That the wife that was
Maybe-
dead is suddenly not dead and alive, but she's not here?
What reason do I have to make something like that up?
What reason does the city to make something like that up? What do they have to gain?
I would hope that maybe the word of your daughter would hold a little bit more merit than the city we had to leave because your marriage and your daughter was illegal.
You resemble nothing of the daughter that left.
Maybe that needed to happen.
You took Rain to fight a dragon?
That wasn't my choice. It happened. And she held her own beautifully.
Nonetheless, did you just come here to berate me about my dead wife, your mother? Like,
No.
I grieved, I mourned, and I moved on. I'm past it. If she is alive, I would love to see her. Love to speak with her again. It's not going to change my love for Arabella, or you, or your sister.
Sorry, hold on one sec. My iPods are I can't hear you.
I don't know what part you stopped hearing.
After I'd love to see her, and then they went.
Yeah, I'd love to see her. I'd love to speak with her, but I moved on. I mourned and moved on. I love that the life I have with Arabella, the life I was able to raise for you and your sister. I don't think any of that's going to change whether or not she's still alive. If she is still alive, yeah, I'd love to know why and what happened, but I'm not going to bend over backwards for that information. If she is alive, then she abandoned us and you. I can't hear you at all. I don't think the microphone's plugged in. This is embarrassing.
Time for you to go to the other room.
Now, sometimes your communication skills are just terrible.
I think she's at a loss for words, as I whispered to
Why don't you just come into my office because we're about to finish up here. I think she's coming in here. She's coming in here, guys.
Can you hear me?
Yay! There you go.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. My laptop is weird. I think it needs to be restarted. Okay. Well, if this information is not doesn't change anything for you, and if this information is not really something you can believe, and this information isn't something that does anything but cause you strife, then ultimately I don't know what else we have to talk about. I came here to give you information and to make sure you were safe. That's why I'm here. There's a war going on. And yes, did we end up in a whole lot more trouble than we thought we were going to? Absolutely. But I fulfilled my promise. I kept Rain safe. And not only that, she keeps herself safe. You clearly did not give her enough merit, because that is an incredibly strong person out there. And both of us have figured out how to hold our own with people who have been wonderful families. Said Tria one of them? No. But I thought that there would be a little bit more joy to find out that the person who, when she died, you couldn't even check in enough to check in on your child. I thought the information that she was alive would bring a little bit more than frustration.
How did you find out?
I ended up on her ship.
And when you found out it was her, were you elated and happy?
At first, yeah.
Because I can't imagine that. I can't imagine seeing her face and thinking, oh, there's my wife that faked her death or lied about her death, or however it is she's alive. I cannot imagine looking that person in the face and thinking, thank you so much for all of the pain you caused me.
Well, you're working off of about 50% of the information. My first reaction was joy. Now, her first reaction was to pretend like she didn't know me. And then, yes, absolutely, there was a lot of anger. It seems that she was brought back to life. She was killed. Her ship went down, and a god brought her back and made her his champion. And that has kept her away. That was just the start. There's a lot more, but that's where her journey began. It also included running a ship, raising someone, finding us. Then she died again, protecting me and information that me and my party held. She was held against her will for days and essentially starved to death. I brought her back. And now she has no memory of any of those events. The last thing she remembers is dying.
That sounds terrible, to die twice. I can only imagine what she's going through.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'd love to speak with her or see her. Offer condolences. I don't think we could pick up where we left off, of course, but maybe I could offer her shelter here and she can try to build a life. I don't know how awkward that would be for her, though, being that I've moved on with Rain's mother.
She has chosen her own path. I offered to bring her here and she declined.
Sounds like her. She's always been the one to kind of push her way through life.
I wish I knew.
Yeah, me too. I wish she could have been. Maybe I don't wish that. And maybe you shouldn't either. I think she would have been an amazing mother and seen you grown, but whatever the hell I did and Arabella did for both of you girls clearly did something right. I don't claim to be father of the year, especially after your mother's disappearance, as best we'll call it, but when you left 8 months ago, I almost put myself into another moment of I'll never see her again. And Arabella had to calm me down every night, sang me songs, kept me busy. I didn't know if you were ever going to return. I heard from you through a tree, which was interesting. But then haven't heard really since then. And of course, I didn't assume the worst, but like you said, there is a war going on. And you never know what could get in the crossfire. So hearing that weird message from a bird, I love to hear from you, but it's weird.
The tree thing is really, really difficult. I gotta say that did not work. That did. I don't know what you thought was going to work with that, Father. That did not work. Trees are stupid.
My point is that I'm ever grateful that you were able to go out there and really accomplish living life to a limit beyond any limit I ever put on you, and for Rain as well. So maybe you don't wish that Centria would have been here the whole time, because I can't guarantee you would have been raised in that same environment. We would have been in Findlewin the whole time. We would have been in the high city walls. I don't think you would have grown to be as compassionate and caring as you are, because in those streets you have to be a little more hard. So you grew to be loving first, and then you gained your strength and your density in the world. You come here and talk to me like I'm less than you, like you're my superior talking down to me in my own home. I don't love it, but at least I understand where this power comes from, listen, Arabelle and I tried our best to give you girls the freedom to love this world and all of its nature. And you took that love, you took that freedom, and you turned it into whatever the hell you are now with those badass wings. And I couldn't be more proud. So I hope the best for Centria. I hope she finds whatever it is she's looking for. And when she's ready to come and speak with us, we'll happily welcome her into our home. But I am also kind of relieved that she's not here. That sounds absolutely unbearable.
Yeah, that was not gonna. I was dreading that too. But for what it's worth, I hope you know that I have not forgotten where I came from, and I hope you know that I have not. I don't believe myself to have grown past it or above it.
And I think it's very important for you and all of you, as he kind of says louder to like the group, to know things are not the same here as when you left. The capital is not the same. So we welcome you to the Kendo Forest. We do not recommend you go north. It's dangerous. I know you fought a dragon.
Ancient dragon.
But to fight an entire army is different. Fintheon army. We're safe here in the forest. They have no idea we're here. And we plan to keep it that way. So we'd love for you all to visit. Please come anytime. Don't ever tell people we're here, please. We like our little sanctuary of peace and tranquility. But let's eat this dragon meat. And you guys can tell us some tales of maybe how you came to earn this meat. All right. And that's what we'll end the session. So it's like 10:20. As you guys are all kind of wrapped around a table, sharing stories and passing around a bottle of wine. I like that. That's a cool visual in your little treehouse.
Yeah.
That's gonna be Hannah's next procreation. Is
Right.
the little treehouse, all of us sitting around a table. Cool. Well, I'm
That's a
gonna
good
stop.
one.